purchases, including fast food, earns you up to 3 times United miles. Simply use your First Hawaiian Bank United credit card and start reaping the most rewarding credit card experience on island. Terms and restrictions apply. Don't have a First Hawaiian Bank credit card? Visit any branch or FHB.com to apply today. With First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes.
Oh, what's for breakfast at KFC under $3.95, you ask? What's for breakfast at KFC that's different than the other guys, you ask? KFC's chicken wrap, sausage wrap, the Colonel's chicken congee, chicken fried steak, sausage biscuit and gravy, and biscuit sandwiches made with KFC's original fluffy biscuits. All for under $3.95 and all only at KFC. Plus, with waffles and the Colonel's chicken fried rice, we've got something for everyone.
So visit KFC for breakfast today. It's finger-licking good.
Democrats in Congress are working to pare down a massive spending bill.
3 employees in...
Pardon me. Here's Jared Halpern.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi says she is disappointed a reconciliation measure will not total $3.5 trillion and says colleagues must make hard choices.
The fact is that if there are fewer dollars to spend, there are choices to be made.
Pelosi did not indicate eliminating programs like universal pre-K, community college tuition, or tax credits, but...
So mostly we would be cutting back on years and something like that.
House and Senate Democrats have not yet settled on a top-line figure that can win support from both progressive and moderates needed for a bill without any Republican support.
Fox's Jared Halpern on Capitol Hill. Suspensions at Netflix amid criticism of a comedian.
3 employees at Netflix have been suspended, including a trans staffer who publicly spoke out against Dave Chappelle's comedy special, The Closer, which has received backlash from the trans community for jokes in the special they called hurtful, cruel, and dismissive. Their focus of the criticism was Chappelle's support of J.K. Rowling and his stance that gender is a fact. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the employees were suspended for attempting to join in a quarterly meeting meant only for directors or vice presidents. Not because of the trans employees' anti-Chappelle tweets. Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos defended the comedian in a memo which said it would not remove the special. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
Jury duty notices have been mailed to 1,000 people in Georgia for the approaching trial of 3 white men charged with killing runner Ahmaud Arbery. The Glynn County Superior Court clerk said pretrial publicity surrounding that slaying made it necessary to summon such a large jury pool. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
The Guy Benson JV International Safety Equipment has it all for you. Fall protection, rain gear, traffic signs, speed bumps, custom signs and banners, PPEs, fire extinguishers, plus more. Check them out on Facebook at JV International Safety Equipment Company or visit their website, www.jvisec.com. JV International Safety Equipment, Guam's leader in occupational and environmental safety equipment. Call 688-9524. JV International Safety Equipment, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
Leah Dunca from Security Title here with a little information about trusts. A trust is a legal entity capable of owning property. It can protect property from issues such as lawsuits or divorce and can be used to distribute property and avoid probate. Many trusts start as revocable but become irrevocable when the initial trustees die. Work with your estate planning attorney to see if a trust is a good fit for your family property. Call the professionals at Security Title. We are here to help.
Come try Guam's original Chamorro restaurant with Pica's Best 5 years running. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus tinactac, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet hamburgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña and Grand Plaza Tumon location. Call their Hagåtña location at 479-2652 for reservations.
Off a day at 6:06, I'm Mana Silva Tyron with a look at your local news on the point. The number of COVID-related deaths continues to rise, with the number of positive cases also going up. Today it's near 200. The Joint Information Center reporting this morning that they confirmed 3 deaths. They were of 3 women, all in their 70s. All of them had underlying health conditions, and none of them were vaccinated. And one of the ladies also confirmed dead on arrival at the hospital, which has authorities again urging people not to wait until it's too late to get treated. Look for emergency warning signs for COVID-19 and seek emergency help. Or call 911 if you have any of the following problems, such as trouble breathing, persistent pain, or pressure in your chest, new confusion, inability to wake or stay awake, or bluish lips or face. Meanwhile, the JIC report also has another 185 new cases of COVID-19 out of 1,444 people tested on October 11th. 74 cases were identified through contact tracing. There also remains 56 people in the hospital with 10 in intensive care. The CAR score this morning is at 24.7. Well, the testing and vaccinations continue today as scheduled, but one thing that seems to have been paused is the processing of requests filed for vaccination exemptions from the government. The Guam Daily Post reports 175 requests have been filed with Public Health, and only one of them has been granted. The Post reporting that Public Health has hit the pause button on their review and processing of these exemption requests. The director, Art St. Augustine, says that they are consulting with the Attorney General's office, and an advisory may come out this week with further clarification. He says one request for COVID-19 vaccine was granted for medical reasons. While the processing is on pause, Public Health says that individuals have to go and get their COVID-19 testing. The Post also points out that the Archdiocese of Agana has earlier stated that it is not issuing any letters to vouch for Catholics seeking exemptions from COVID-19 vaccination for religious reasons. Well, more news right after this.
It's back on. Mark it down. October 30, Michelob Ultra presents the GSPN Imas Met Good competition. Guam's strongest man and woman will be determined at the Paseo grounds. Come, watch our island's strongest compete in the Triple J truck pull, the Paradise Fitness log lift, CTD and Pacific tire flip, the ITNE wheelbarrow course, Guam Army National Guard warrior walk, and the Isla Imports mini truck lift. There'll be a beer garden and food truck, so leave your chow and drinks at home. They're not allowed at this free event. Who will be Guam's strongest man and woman? Find out Saturday, October 30th.
Public Health did issue some guidance with regard to sports activities and the implementation of COVID-19 mitigation measures, including vaccination requirements and training for training and competitions. It says face mask requirements and physical distancing still in place for non-scholastic organized sports training and competition. It also clarifies areas of health, hygiene, cleaning, and disinfecting, as well as signage. A meeting was held yesterday with the Guam Congressman Mike Nicholas, Senator Jim Moylan, and PD Mayor Jesse Alec. Alec is also the president of the Guam Mayor's Council, the three discussing ARP funding to support Guam villages. But Congressman Nicholas surprised to hear that of the $553 million of coronavirus recovery funds given Guam, money hasn't already been plugged directly into Guam's villages. The Guam Daily Post reporting on that meeting says Guam's municipal funding is for the mayors is at $32 million, and that money should have gone directly into the villages based on population for villages to expend in service of their local communities. The delegate has recommended that a request be made with Treasury to itemize the municipalities, but also hopes that the administration instead would hear the concerns raised in yesterday's meeting and simply honor the spirit of the ARP and take the $32 million and distribute it directly to the villages. The Guam Daily Post did ask Adelup how the municipality funding was requested, but is still waiting a response. Moylan and Alec indicated Tuesday that they would also request clarification from the governor. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
Didn't the governor give them $37 million to the mayors? We talked about this back in August. There was a whole thing, and remember we were looking at it because part of the money was going to get spent for the mayors to take Franklin Covey training. And through some kind of a weird, you remember? And I was talking to Jerry about all that was a $37 million deal. So is it possible that the mayors have already gotten some of that money? We'll see what we can find out here this morning. Everybody's all lined up for and besides the ultimate answer to the ultimate question, ask less. Whatever Les says is what the deal ends up being. High surf advisory still in effect until 6 o'clock this evening along north-facing reefs. There's a high risk of rip currents through this afternoon along north and east-facing reefs as well. Today, partly cloudy with isolated showers. You hear that? Hear that? Partly cloudy. which is better than mostly cloudy, with isolated showers and thunderstorms possible. East winds about 10 miles an hour, shifting to the south in the afternoon. Highs around 88 degrees. Hold on, let me see if I can get the weather back up on the screen here so that you can see what things look like in the hood. There's the picture. Let me put it up with the thing that points to where you can see Guam. And yeah, so lots of crud up to the northeast of us, and there is crud to the southwest of us. But as you start looking around the neighborhood, that swirling begins to dissipate. Now, I told you that Wednesday might be the best looking day of the week, and it looks like my predictions are coming through here. Partly cloudy, isolated showers and thunderstorms over the next 24 hours. Southwest winds 5 to 15 miles an hour. Highs near 88 degrees with a heat index. It'll feel like 94. I'm calling drill marks here. I got partly cloudy skies all the way through tomorrow afternoon. Heat index, as I said, 94 degrees. Sunrise this morning at 6:11. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:03. Sunrise pictures. Do I have any of those? Absolutely. Where's the pictures from Sarita? Hold on, they're all in there somewhere. Is that? Wait. Is theirs today? Is that not go? Hey, calm down. I'm just so excited. I can't help clicking.
Is that Guam there, right?
That's right there in the middle of the sky. You can see Guam. Yeah, I'm doing a good job already, right? So here we go. There were some other pictures. She had sent over some pictures of donny plants that are growing apparently over at Sarita's place. Not like you, pork chop. So we got that and. It's okay. And then we've got with some other these glorious sunrise pictures. Eventually, I'll get the ones from Pirates Cove, eastern side of the island, and see what it looks like over there. 888-8255-888-TALK. Wait. Hold on. Somebody sending me sunrise from Rhoda. This is the Rotanese sunrise. Our buddy who was aboard the Hermodite. Is that it? No, Eridote. The APL. I'm just making up words now.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited about Wednesday. And
there's Guam.
Getting the weather report right. It's a wedding top on Guam. Holiday Rhoda sunrise from the American President Line's Herodot boat ride up there. Awesome and a great way to celebrate and honor the fact that it's Wednesday morning. All right, there's news and weather together brought to you by Bank Pacific, banking on the Pacific for 67 years.
Now open on Guam, 511 Tactical Gear Guam, offering superior tactical apparel and duty gear for law enforcement, first responders, tactical operators, and recreational enthusiasts. You'll find Guam's largest selection of 511 pants, shirts, jackets, hats, boots, watches, knives, lights, patches, and gear bags. Shop inventories online at tacticalgearguam.com. Located in Harmon, Route 16 Army Drive between Little Wangs and the Dungeon, right next to Bargain Tactical. 511 Tactical Gear Guam. Always be ready.
Hindi ang inyong bago na tapat sa serbisyo. Tunay na kaibigan at handa para sa inyo. Ang bangko ng kinabukasan, laging maaasahan. Bank Pacific, where others put branches, we place through.
Two of my favorite words that go great together, bacon and cheddar. Waiting for you. It's a great new lunchtime sandwich from over at Wendy's. The big bacon cheddar, finally here. Everything you want in a cheeseburger. We'll get the creamy cheddar sauce, applewood smoked bacon. There's a lot going on there. Sweet bacon sauce and crispy onions, all in a toasted cheddar bun. It's a handful. I've seen it. Hurry, try one today. Only at Wendy's, where we got you. Ray Gibson Show also brought to you by the guys over at American President Lines, including the dude on the Herodot here this morning up in Rhoda, where he's taking snaps of the sunrise up there. A global presence with a local home.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now. 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
More sunrise. More sunrise pictures. Or sunset pictures. Booty shots, whatever. I don't know. What do you got? I'm not done. No, let the music play. I like talking over the music every once in a while. It's freeing. All right. I got enough coffee in me, or can you tell I'm already animated about the morning? Thanks. Another great shot from the Herodot here this morning. Jeff from Pirates Cove, not wanting to be left out here. Has sent in some pictures as well. I'm rather drooly here this morning. I don't know, maybe it's that conversation about that cheddar bacon that they've got over at Wendy's. All right, here's the Wednesday morning picture from over at Pirates Cove as the sun begins to break out. I think these are what happens after the sun already breaks the rise. I'm not entirely sure what the sequence is, but you are going to love this next one here. Isn't that not great? I got multiple colors in there, and one of them reminiscent, I think, of certain nuclear tests that we used to have over at the Marshalls years and years ago. A little bit more of that kind of red in the sunrise. I think that's indicative of what is going to be rays, early morning crepuscular rays peeking out from the clouds. That's nice, Jeff. And as usual, I think we've got a picture of some guy, just random dude lurking in your backyard. He's kind of walking around there like he owns the place. Anyway, thanks very much for sending those pictures up. If you'd like to enjoy morning there or afternoon there or drinks there, you know where Pirates Cove is down in Epan, 6:17 in the morning. Welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray. Thrilled. You can almost complete that, can't you? He's thrilled, something, to be with you here this morning. Joined Mike's side by, Real Joe Cruz. And Real Joe Cruz. Montecillo Tyrant, do you know what he did? He's done a great job so far.
Yes.
He's found the girl.
He found her.
The girl that we were talking about yesterday. And
he marked his territory already.
Marked the territory. Is that how we want to?
Yeah.
All right. So
Hold up.
This woman here she's a broadcaster from out, I don't know, Forgotten Fork, Wyoming or something like that. And she's making jokes about wanting to paddle out to Guam and then do a show from the beach, from the beautiful beaches of Guam. Mm-hmm. And so she got the name. I can't remember the name or anything. You sent it to me yesterday. What's your name, Real Joe?
Yeah, man, I'm not good with names, man.
Yeah,
she's pretty.
Hey, eyes up here. Eyes up here. Eyes up here, Joe.
Was it Natalie?
Yeah.
Somebody. I don't know.
And the golf or something.
But you found her.
Yeah. I sent her a message.
Don't send her this clip on the show. Don't send her, because she's going to go, I don't want to go there. Those two boys are stupid. I already have stupid boys here.
I told you about it. I forgot her name.
There's another piece of paper. There's another thing that you sent. But anyway, you've reached out. How'd you find her?
Yeah, Instagram.
Natalie Eganoff.
Eganoff. Yeah, Instagram.
So you just sent her a message on Instagram?
I sent her a message. She didn't respond for like hours and hours, and then I went to her story.
She played you. She told me.
No, I went to her story, and I was like, check your messages.
Oh.
Yeah. And then she did. Because I'm
wait.
sure like 1,000 people are messaging her, hey baby.
Regular, right?
Hey, baby.
Hey. Why?
Yeah.
Exclamation. I hope you're having a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Why? Exclamation. So you told her to check her DMs, and then she communicated. Did she?
She said she'd be excited to be on the show.
Awesome.
She wants to come to Guam. She heard that she may never leave if she comes here.
That's true. That's true. Especially if he finds a guy got access to base.
I don't know. It's almost Christmas,
on the
Ray.
Base, bro.
I'm feeling the Hallmark feeling right now.
619. Oh, that's right. We can make a whole new movie about
Christmas drop right here.
Christmas drop too.
Yeah.
This would be perfect. Anyway, so what's her name? Meganoff. And Real Joe has made contact. We'll see if Natalie is the first name. So,
Nat.
Usually it takes a couple of dates after that. You figure out, try to remember what the first date is. Otherwise, it's hey you for a couple of dates, right?
Yes.
Unless you when they go to the bathroom, you dig in her purse and pull out the driver's license. Oh, that's her name, right?
Yeah, it's
anyway,
a dude.
But
so I'm just kidding, man.
So wait, but there's more on this and more on, because I think there might be some people that missed what we were talking about here. And now, Real Joe, this is the way to do this, guys. I'd never considered this tactic before in any of my stalking arrangements. So you want to hit them up, just send them a regular message and then find a story that they're currently run and then click on a message there, because those also will show up in the message thing, and she'll go, hey, somebody from Guam wants me to check is slipping into my DMs.
Yeah.
It's a back channel on a back channel. Excellent work. Very good strategic
it's a tomorrow
thought there.
thing.
Excellent work. So that's Real Joe Cruz and his adventures from last night. Oh, yeah, we got a hold of a couple of other movers and shakers and big names here on Guam. We'll talk to them a little bit later on in the morning show as well. What's that message? Put the girl back up on the screen. No. Let me put another girl back up on the screen. Montecillo Tyrant joins us into the program here this morning. We got news and all of the other stuff that you're going to be taking care of here this morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see you, Mana.
Well, listen, I've learned after hard, painful experience not to ask Mana, what she did yesterday, because the answer is always going to be hang out the house. That's it. Do anything adventurous? Nope. Fed the dog.
I did, actually.
There we go. Got to feed the dogs. There we go. That's the life of Mana Silvertyrant right there. What are you doing?
You know what I did do?
Feed the
I
dog.
watched Squid Games.
You did?
Oh,
I'm on episode 6.
You're
I
hooked.
can't stop.
Whoa, I told you.
Because Mia goes, because I said I can't get past the first 30 minutes. So what I did was I went in and fast forwarded it until the game started, and then I just got hooked. I couldn't turn. Shelly called me up last night. I was like, I'm watching Squid Games.
I can't talk. Right. So,
Well,
I
tried
can't
to
remember
talk.
what exactly happens in episode 6. I will tell you though that without spoiling the end will kill you. You will go, what? Get out of here! You're kidding! And any of the characters that you've fallen in love with, this is like Game of Thrones. Don't get really attached to a lot of the people on the show because right.
Forever?
Yeah, I was gonna say right around episode 6 or 7, there's a good big chunk of them just go to the end of the game, prematurely.
What really got my hands, I'll just say this. They had a tug of war game.
Ooh.
My hands were sweating.
All the way
I'll
through.
leave it at that.
All the way through.
But you know what? I got a super craving for Korean food.
Of course.
Because I was watching, they have these little bento box that they feed them. And like, I totally played just to eat their food.
Oh, that's how they get you, man.
They
Forget
reel
the
you
money.
in.
Forget the money. I just want your food.
Well, the sad thing is the food is not as good as it is in the first episode. I mean,
Even
the
ramen.
quality of the food declines. Towards the end, they're just eating like potatoes,
Yeah,
right?
these accommodations, they're not
here's
satisfactory.
a potato and water. That's what you're going to get. Although there is a nice
Korean
there's a fancy
potato and
dinner.
water's got to be the best.
There's a
potato
fancy
ever.
dinner at the end, and that's all I can say about it. So here's where people have watched. Now I've watched the series twice. I've sunk into it twice, and I still can't get enough of it. So when you're done with the series, the next step is you go to YouTube, and YouTube now is littered. It is absolutely littered with all kinds of people doing spoiler videos. And here's the Easter egg that you didn't see, or
Easter
here.
eggs.
Did you notice? If you'd have seen this, if you'd have watched for this, all of this would have been foreshadowed, and you would have absolutely known. There's some M. Night Shyamalan in all of this, and now everybody is deconstructing it.
Okay.
So watch a couple of those things on YouTube, then go and rewatch the season, and you'll sit there and go, how did I miss that? How is it possible? I missed that. I wasn't even looking at the thing, and there it was. It was right in front of me. As an example, and I won't tell you exactly where it is, but if you're in episode 6, you can see all of the games that are going to get played now. All of the games that have been played, all of the games that are going to get played. It's literally right in front of your very eyes, and you won't know it. Anyways, that's the fun of the whole Squid Games. Now, although I did watch. There was somebody had taken a copy of, I think it was Jimmy Fallon or somebody doing an interview with the cast of the Squid Games. Like
wow.
Zoom or something like that. Worst interview I've ever seen in my life. It's just you got the satellite delayed. Half the cast doesn't speak English, and the other one speaks broken English like I speak broken Korean. It's like where'd you learn to speak English? At the bar. Where'd you learn to speak Korean? At the bar. It's 6:24 in the morning. These are some of the folks that I used to learn to speak Korean with at the bar.
Sometimes you wanna go where everybody knows your name. Glad you came. You wanna be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You wanna be where everybody knows your name. You wanna go where people know people are all the same. You wanna go where everybody knows your name.
Oh, this is a spot right here. I got this from Pam Duvall, and I'm not sure entirely what's going on here. She says it's last night sunset, but it's coming from a Facebook feed that has Kim Aiken's name on it, so I don't know who's getting the credit for this. But you know what? Pam Duvall will get the credit. She's the mom of the show and is celebrating yesterday. Would have put up her own picture of the sunset last night, except she was celebrating a big happy birthday with Clayton.
Oh, happy birthday!
Happy birthday to you, Clayton, from all of us here on the program. I think it was either Clay or Pam that just signed up as new followers of the YouTube feed, and we've got a YouTube feed. More on that in just a little bit. But great to have you online here this morning. She is not first, by the way, though. In first place, I think, according to the app that I was looking at, it's hard for me to go backwards because after a whole bunch of names scroll by, I can't see who was number one. But when I first looked at it, it looked like it was Sandra Regis, soon to be Senator Sandra Regis, that was at number 1 there this morning. So awesome, good to have you online here. Looking at some of the other portions of this, Ismael Velez says, who in multiple red balloons says, I want to wish a happy 9th birthday to my son Xander. Proud of this young man you're becoming. I can't wait to see the man that you grow up to be. If he's half the guy that you are, he's going to be a great guy. I also want to wish a happy 246th birthday to the world's greatest Navy.
Oh, happy birthday.
I'm assuming he's talking about the United States Navy.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
Squids.
Just checking. Just want to make sure. Post Canteen online this morning. And a reminder that Post Canteen has got the VFW up in Gigo. Friday night, they're going to be doing another drawing in the Queen of Hearts contest. And the jackpot over $2,000 right now. So if you could use some money, I mean, that's more money than Lou's giving people these days. But a lot less than the mayors are asking for. Brad Wood online. Brad asked me an interesting question. I woke up and checked my messages this morning, and Brad, I don't know, and Lucia must have gotten into some tequila last night because he's asking me, he says, do you ever wear Band-Aids on your nipples when you run?
Wow.
Deeply personal question, but the answer is yes, I have. I have worn Band-Aids on my nipples when I run, especially marathons, and the reason why is because there's a whole lot of friction going on here, and so if you don't protect them, the nipples will bleed. They will actually bleed. I've had it where I've come off a race with a white shirt and my nipplage area. Yeah, it sounds painful. You know what? It is. It's very painful. There's another buddy of mine, Art, and it didn't matter what kind of shirt he was wearing. He always bled at the nipples unless he wore something. I don't generally need it for shorter races. Anything less than about 13 miles, probably don't need anything like that. But no, thanks for asking. Appreciate it. Joey Kitchito online here this morning. Pretty Sarita Garin. Jay Rojas saying happy birthday to Montesilva. Hey, he remembered.
Hey, happy birthday. It's his birthday.
Mahalos.
Isn't that great? Auntie Bennett Lohan Duenas is online. Rico Blancaflor, Lee Stolley, and let me see, Henry Manglotnia saying his good morning. John Barcinas, Nicholas, that's JB. Carlene Harker, I got Felix Bumba, and let me see, Mark Cruz, who's doing the wave. Mark, I appreciate the message you sent this morning, and I reached out to the guy and sent some condolences. A friend of ours, I'm not going to say his name, but he's mentioned it already on Facebook. Father apparently took a bad fall and broke his back and sadly passed away. The family is thinking about you for sure. Bertha Maza Cruz and Joanne Taitano. Keenan McCausland, good morning, Point Familia, and says, I'm okay. Keenan McCausland, up in the upper left-hand corner of the United States, and works at a Walmart, Real Joe.
Nice.
And you know what happened at the Walmart the other day?
Big sell?
No, somebody walked in with a gun.
Oh, no.
Somebody walked in, they had to, shelter in place or, evacuate or whatever.
Yeah.
And she, apparently she's
Active
okay.
shooter?
But Mana wanted to know, did she take him down?
Yeah.
Took him out.
Took him out, man. Used the gun.
That's a Chamorro
He
girl.
sprayed that Tupika in his eyes.
Huh?
Who needs security with
Get
Keena's there?
bad with a gun here, huh? So happy 246th birthday, U.S. Navy from Sandra Regis. Jerome McDonald saying good morning, Ray, Monterey, Joe, Sir Jerry Roberts on your lovely Wednesday on Guam, Eunice Mendiola, and yeah, there's plenty more. What's that? Mark Cruz, sincere condolences. There it is to longtime and regular listener of the Point, Jack Ari, and family on his father's unexpected passing yesterday. Thanks, Mark, for filling in the blank there. And Colin Clark saying, Basta, Kaulo Zaplo, Vince Borja, that's soon to be Senator Vince Borja online here this morning. So it's good to have you online. Former Governor Carl T.C. Gutierrez is bringing the sunshine. Ow! Brought the sunshine to the legislature yesterday.
That's the man.
But it was not good sunshine. Color no good yesterday. Color no good at the legislature, and because there was a huge dose of reality that was given to Amanda Shelton and others in that informational briefing that they had over at the legislature. Did you hear where our total numbers for 2022 ended up? I'm sorry, FY 2021. Did you see where that was? The visitor arrivals, 60,343. Okay, let me put this in perspective. On any month prior to COVID-19, 60,000 we would have gotten that on about the 14th or 15th of the month, with another 60+ thousand that would be coming in before the end of the month. 134,000 people at the high water mark for tourism per month. per month for the high water mark on tourism, and that half of that is what we got for the entire year of 2000 and the fiscal year 2021. Kids, we're in trouble. We are in trouble. And if it wasn't for all of the money that seems to be coming in, just a huge pipe of money that's coming in from the federal government of the United States, I think we would be just in a completely, unbelievably disastrous state. So it's good that Carl and Jerry and others were down there at the legislature, letting them know what was going on. It looks like we've got some other problems. The Airbnb program it would normally be working and a going concern, but we've got concerns about Washington, D.C. and the fact that Biden might make it so that you can't get to the United States unless you're vaccinated. Well, what's the point of coming here to get vaccinated? You can't come here to get vaccinated unless you're already vaccinated. Does that make any kind of sense? Nothing about the Biden administration makes any kind of sense for me as well. Ton Duk online. Ton, I'm glad that you were up there for Kina and make sure she's okay through all of the rest of this stuff. 6:32 in the morning. Wait, is there more? Anna Marie is there. Online here this morning. Good. Oh, even Mana Silva Tyron is on.
Morning,
it's amazing. Says, happy birthday to the kid. Hope you and Lisa make it a great one. Oh, are you talking about the birthday, or are they going to make another kid?
Yeah. They need cute ones. They could.
Go for it.
Shoot for a girl.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know about that. Rudy Magallanes, happy birthday, Mana. And Sherry Iriarte online. Gerald Young, good morning. It's nice to see you then. Brendan Fausto, this jar head up for the Ray Gibson Show. Good vibes. Always good vibes for you, Brent. Good to have you online, and looking to see if there's any other folks here that I have not mentioned the name of. Kina talking about her adventure at the Walmart. It happened at almost 1 here in the States just before the Point Show came on. Oh, my God. But you're okay. That's the important thing. I want to say Carl Meyer is there. Good morning, everybody, from the APL. Herodote bringing the goods today to Guam. You know what? You might need to take some of that expertise out to the west coast of the United States, east coast of the United States, and see if we might be able to get some junk off of some of these boats that are tied off on offshore and waiting to unload all of their goods, or Army men or whatever happens to be in things. Now it might be worth taking a look and see who's lurking over on the YouTube side. For those of you that go, I like the Facebook side, but sometimes I think it's a little bit too tame. I want to go someplace where I can let my hair down even more. You can let it down all the way. You'd be naked in the YouTube chat room. It's all right with me. Already got a whole bunch of folks that are lined up there. Joey Keats is still moving back and forth. Peter Tureen, I see Typhoon online. Rico B also moving back and forth to check out the conversation on both sides. Walter Gray and where's James Howard? All Points Bulletin for James. Nita is online on that side as well. I'm looking to see what we've got here. Somebody messing with me already. Talking about, it's hump day. Come now. We know it's the day that I don't call hump day because I'm not the usual guy. 6:34 in the morning. The usual guy will be in a little bit later on. In the meantime, lots and lots on the table of contents to talk about. And what the heck is going on with Southwest Airlines?
Oh, yeah.
Have you been paying attention to that?
Yeah, we're not going to take it, man.
That's or I don't know.
They're jumping out of their planes, those pilots.
A spokesperson for Southwest Airlines has announced delays in flights due to strange weather that seems to pass over their competitors' planes. They've got Southwest Airlines, apparently, we can't fly when there's clouds, but all the other airplanes in the world can fly, only affecting their own signature blue and orange aircraft. The airline has stated these delays have no connections to any pilots protesting any vaccine mandates. The spokesperson then announced the new Southwest Airlines incentive program for potential passengers. All flights, domestic or international, are free to any passenger who is vaccinated and can also fly an airplane. Isn't that great? The requirements to take advantage of this incredible savings are simple, says Bob Southwest to a crowd of customers who'd been stuck at the airport all weekend and were frothing at the mouth in anger. Show us proof of your vaccination against COVID-19 and promise you know how to fly commercial airliners, and your flight's on us. How about that? It's marketing. You just never let an opportunity pass you by. The CEO then mentioned other skills that were not required but beneficial. Experience calming herds of rabid, sleepless passengers, expertise in flying through mysterious, invisible weather events, and the ability, to land a plane. So that's what they're going through. No, because Jerry and I were talking about it yesterday. We talked about it in the 7 o'clock hour yesterday. Right after, in the 7 o'clock Fox News, there was a representative from the Airplane Pilot Union that said, No, there's no problem with the airlines and the pilots. No, we're having a good time. We're getting together. We got the quiz night coming up. We're gonna it's a trivia night. It's a big union-wide trivia night thing that's going to be coming up. No, we're all getting along just fine. And then Jerry,
nice damage control, man.
Jerry later on sent me a thing on the WhatsApp, and it was, hold on, there it is. It's a post on the social media. It says, I just got this message from a waste book post. Waste book. I'm so excited I can hardly type. FYI, I'm in the airline industry. Yesterday, 668 Southwest Airlines flight had canceled by the time I went to bed. There are 1,000 to 1,400 that will be canceled today. Want to know why? They told their pilots and flight attendants they had to get until November to get jabbed. So now they have to use all their banked vacation and personal time, or they're going to lose it. Which is why it all happened, at the same time. And off-duty crew are not picking up trips to cover. Jacksonville ATC, that's air traffic control, walked out too, and Milwaukee air traffic control is expected to follow. There's no weather. Southwest just doesn't want to tell you the real reason why. I asked one of the pilots about it. The answer I got was 80% of our pilots are ex-military. We see the tyranny that's happening. They're coming for essential workers first. Nurses, doctors, firefighters, police, military, teachers, transportation workers, and they're coming for the rest of America next, and we're not doing it. So that's at least one side of the whole Southwest story. Other airlines and things like that have other mandates. I'm wondering if maybe we'll see a little bit of a contagion with some of this as we get closer and closer to the days. 6:38 in the morning. The Ray Gibson Show. Montecito Tyrant has got your big news and headlines. We'll jump into some of that right about now when the music starts playing and I say, Hava Mana, what happened?
Well, the COVID numbers, COVID-related fatalities continues to rise. The Joint Information Center reporting 3 additional deaths confirmed. They are all 3 women in their 70s. All of them had underlying health conditions, and none of them were vaccinated. The JIC report this morning also has 185 new cases of COVID out of 1,400 people who were tested the day before yesterday. The CAR score is at 24.7. Meanwhile, Public Health has hit the pause button on the review of the vaccination exemption applications. Daily Post reporting that of the 175 applications that have been submitted, only 1 has been granted. Public Health working with the AG's office in clarifying that policy. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
Sammy Hagar turned 74 years old.
Wow.
Now, Van Halen or Van Hager? Do we want to? Is there a
Van
debate there?
Hager.
Van Hager, that was yours.
That's mine.
Okay, I go back to the original Van Halen days. Yeah. Started with Running with the Devil. That the whole guitar and that sound, getting into Running with the Devil, and then you get into the whole rest of the album. OU812, all of that stuff. But anyway, so Sammy Hagar turned 74. Marie Osmond is 62 years old. Somebody just had a heart attack. 72.
Wow.
Good Lord. We're the same
she looks
age.
fantastic anyway.
Didn't she? She did one of the things, right? Didn't she get heavy and then, or am I thinking of Valerie Bertinelli?
Oh, well,
both of them.
Oh, both of them did.
Yeah, both of them.
All right.
They're still hot.
It's like that, 6:39. I got other celebrity birthdays. In fact, I realize now I'm reading this stuff. It's Wednesday. I don't think I've done celebrity birthdays for the week, all week, have I? I didn't do Mondays. Monday, I did the birthdays from the weekend. And so I didn't do the Mondays. I didn't do yesterday's. I'm just now scratching the surface on today's celebrity birthdays. I want to make sure that Xander, Ismail's kid, knows what celebrities are celebrating on the same day as him. Here, this will piss your dad off. Today's Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's birthday.
Ow.
She's 32. She's 32 years old.
Oh, wow. Happy birthday, girl.
Politics aside, Xander, that's the kind of woman. On the other side of the aisle, Tiffany Trump turns 28 years old, and there's others. Nancy Kerrigan, as in when we say take a knee, we take a knee, is 52 years old. Kate Walsh from Grey's Anatomy turns 54 years old. I got DeMond Wilson, who you will not remember unless I remind you who he was. What's the name of the TV show?
With the Hawks.
No, he was on a television show back in the 1970s, and I don't know that we'd be able to make that the show again because it's so politically. It had the capability of being politically incorrect in its own way. Sanford and Son. He was the son on Sanford and Son.
And how old is he?
75 years old.
Poor guy.
And from the world of music, I'm a recent convert. How do I say this? I was never really a big fan when it was him and Garfunkel. Paul Simon is 80 years old today. It's just this stuff that they, so like
You've
even
never
slower.
been a fan of Paul Simon?
Not really. You Can Call Me Out. My favorite song by him is "You Can Call Me Out." Only because it's got Chevy Chase in the video.
Yeah,
you know
when
what
you
I mean?
and Julio used to play down by the
so
schoolyard.
In the schoolyard.
His music makes me happy.
I don't
Very
hit the button.
cheerful.
I don't hit the button when his songs come up anymore. 6:41 in the morning. 888-825-5888-TAOK. All right. So last day before we get into the break, and we'll talk about our own transportation hassles. Before we get into the break, this is what's floating around. Thanks very much for the meme. Attention. Do you work for an airline? Do you work in air traffic control? What's really going on with all the flight cancellations? Southwest, Delta, United, American Airways, JetBlue. Contact us, send a direct message or email to us. Veritas, as in Project Veritas, tips at protonmail.com on the World Wide Web. So they're looking to see if they can get some on the record but off the record information on what's going on with these airlines. And you know, I don't want to panic anybody, because we're not talking about the biggest airlines and the only guys in the game. But here we are, 6:42 on a Wednesday morning in late 2021. We know that there are already transportation and supply issues in the country affected by shipping, the availability of containers, the availability of raw materials, and there's all kinds of slip in 20 different directions, right? But now what happens if the airplanes that fly people, for sure, but also will fly cargo across the country? You know, when you don't have the time to let it sit on a ship or on a railroad, we put those on airplanes. And now what happens when some of that flown goods, the flown freight, and incidentally, Amazon.com, when they can't put it on a fast train, when they can't get it on a boat, they stick it on what? Say it with me now. Rhymes with rare planes. Yeah, that's how it gets here. Golly, I hope this doesn't have an impact, because I'm waiting on some stuff to come in from the States. You know what I did get? You know what I did get the other day?
What did you get again, Ray?
It's a cooler. So I got this.
Oh, wow, another cooler.
This is, you're going to love this. I should bring it in for show and tell. This thing will hold 40 cans of beer and ice. And it's got room in the sides for like 2 bottles of wine each, or more beer. And you don't carry it, because the one that I had is a Coleman, right? It's one of these white vinyl Colemans, and normally it had been functioning perfectly, but the shoulder strap was starting to go. And so I thought I'd better buy a new cooler. So I got one. This one doesn't have a shoulder strap. You know what it does have?
Wheels.
It's a backpack.
Oh, it's a backpack.
It's a backpack, like 30 pounds worth of mostly drinks in the back of this thing, and just like walk to my spot on the beach.
Hiking party.
Right. 6:44 in the morning. I'm bringing.
You'll see Ray rucking down the street with his big cooler.
And everybody's gonna say, "Oh, he's exercising." No. The only thing it needs is a straw that comes out of the back of it, like the Camelbacks. But and honestly, you know what I am waiting for that has not arrived yet, although I ordered it seemingly months ago. It's the part where you guys go, Ray, what are you waiting for? What is it? What are they holding
What
out?
else did you order, Hoarder?
A kilt.
A kilt?
A kilt.
Well,
man, here we
it
go.
is coming out week.
Yeah.
No.
Congrats, Ray.
No,
It's just his excuse for wearing a skirt.
But there's a story in today's lifestyle where, under Dear Abby, kilt-wearing Scott endures repeated assaults.
Oh, nice.
So this
You want to be assaulted, Ray?
I married a proud Scotsman a year ago. who often wears kilts. When we go out, women think nothing of coming over and lifting his kilt, which exposes him to anyone who has a visual advantage. The last time it happened, a woman ripped off his kilt and the police became involved. Originally, the police were going to charge my husband with indecent exposure. After several hours, it became clear that it was the woman who assaulted my husband. The police then kind of laughed it off. They didn't plan on doing anything further. We were furious. Women need to understand that lifting a man's kilt is a sexual assault and should be treated as the crime that it is. Now, every time a woman does it, we immediately call the police and report the crime. The perpetrators are then shocked and angry that they're being arrested for a sex crime for something they thought was innocent fun and games. Your column reaches many readers. With your help, we can help women understand that doing this is unacceptable. And I don't even care what Dear Abby had to say about that.
You're ordering this kill just for the sake of tempting girls to come and lift your skirt.
Here's the thing about the Dear Abby story.
I don't support this cultural appropriation. You are not Scottish.
This is what happens. So I guarantee this is what's going on, right? If it was just the guy and he's out with his buddies and the girls come over and lift his kilt, yeah, no problem. It is fun and games. But when he's with his wife, oh yeah, then I gotta do the righteous indignation thing. How dare you lift my kilt, lassie? What are you looking for? That's not a shillelagh there, huh? I know I'm mixing up my accent. 646.
Nice.
Tell you what, we're going to take a look at some traffic here in just a sec.
Looking for a seamless medical trip to Manila? St. Luke's Medical Center offers a convenient end-to-end medical travel service and direct access to St. Luke's, Quezon City, and Global City. St. Luke's Medical Travel Service covers patients from the Pacific and provides services such as air travel assistance, airport to hospital transportation, hospital admission, and more. To learn more, call Phil MD 671-637-5433 or visit their office in Tumuning, Guam across Baltej Pavilion. At St. Luke's, we love life.
Contact Express Financial for all your financial needs. Express Financial is consumer lending at its very best. They also have a host of dealer service programs with quick approvals. There are 3 ways to apply. Over the phone at 637-9834. You may visit their office in person at 600 Harmon Loop Road across the street from Costules. Or you can also visit their webpage and apply at myexpressfinancial.com. In most cases, you'll get your money the same day.
Refresh at Subway and taste what is new. I did the other day. I got that craving, went over to the Subway down the street, got myself it was like a BMT, but they were out of something. So we had to modify, and I said, can I get bacon in that? And they threw in all this super extra crispy bacon and an avocado topping, smashed ripped avocado toppings. And I tried this on the multi-grain wheat. Now, this is the second or third time I've already had that, and I'm a fan now. You ought to try it as well. Need something with a lot more flavor on it? Try the artisan Italian white bread. Stop into the nearest Subway and refresh your favorite sandwich with all of the new toppings today.
Becoming a homeowner can be a scary process, but it doesn't have to be, especially if you have the right guidance. Break through your fears and go to a real estate professional that will ensure a higher chance of success. That person is Lolita Camet of RE/MAX Diamond Realty. Lolita also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, and military and corporate relocation. Don't be afraid. Call Lolita Camet from RE/MAX Diamond Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
Oh, there's gonna be a scrap here. Typhoon on the YouTube side responding to Ismail on the Facebook side. Typhoon says the greatest Navy ended in 1985. Ooh. Oh no! What happened in 1985? Was that Don't Ask, Don't Tell? Was that the beginning? No, 85 was Reagan was still in the presidency in 1985. It was I think the Clinton days. Anyway, 649. You guys get together and fight about that. Were you putting up the music for the traffic report? All right, let me see what I can find here. If there's anything that's going to be happening. We got God! I'm sure it's cleared up. But yesterday afternoon, did you see the video of that, Mana? Harvest, there was somebody that got tired of the Harvest line and abandoned their car there.
I did not see
I got to play that for you.
I completely feel that.
Oh my God, it's hilarious. Anyway, so I've got a little bit of traffic up at Anderson Air Force Base on the back road to Anderson. Looks like we might have some around the Attica area. Then we make our way down Marine Corps Drive. Dededo looking all right until you get to around the Fatima intersection. Then we've got let me see here some traffic over at the intersection of 1 and 3. Also traffic up around Ukadu because it's Wednesday and there is school today. Southbound Marine Corps Drive over at the intersection where the airport is. Expect some delays through there. Otherwise, it's looking pretty good. Let me get this up on the screen so you can see what I'm looking at as we get into the downtown Agutnia area. Strangely, things running very clear on Route 8 and Route 4 on the way into the downtown Agutnia area. No rain on Polaris, so it looks like you got a straight shot into Big Navy in Suma. There you go, 650. That's right now traffic on the point.
Everyone has a busy schedule these days, and sometimes we forget to schedule our routine dental checkup and cleaning. Don't neglect your dental health. Schedule one today with Dr. Robert Yang and his Smile Team, conveniently located at the East West Business Center on Marine Drive, Upper Tumon. Call us today at 647-8702 or 3. Again, that's 647-8702 or 647-8703. We make smiles happen.
Do you or a loved one have loss of use of a hand or hands from an injury, stroke, birth defect, or pain? Then reach out to a specialist in upper extremity and hand surgery care by contacting Dr. Jerome Landstrom, board-certified reconstructive hand surgeon and microsurgeon. 671-646-HAND, or visit his website at www.pacifichandsurgery.com.
Am I supposed to talk about going and getting a platter from over at Applebee's? Is that the
Yes,
plan?
sir.
All right, no, that can be done. There are a lot of guys who are doing that these days. You know, a lot of restaurants are going. We probably get more takeout business than we do dine-in business these days. Guys over at Applebee's are encouraging that. $60 gets you a family platter combo, boneless wings or mozzarella sticks to get you started, big house salad, and then you can choose from a whole bunch of other incredible platters: salmon Alfredo, pot roast, island pork chops, miso salmon, and St. Louis ribs. St. Louis ribs, right, with the sauce on everything. Just gets all over your face and your hands. You got to move out of the house because you get this St. Louis ribs all over the place. The sauce. Find that. You can call Applebee's because they have a phone. 671-648-2337. That's 671-648-2337. Open every day until 9 on the weekdays, and Thursday through Saturday until 10.
Guam Auto Spot has the best selection in Buick, GMC, Mitsubishi, and used cars like the 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage starting at $127 per paycheck. Zero down. Call 671-478-AUTO to take a test drive or get pre-approved online at GuamAutospot.com.
Real Talk Radio is back. Welcome to The Point, Guam's FM News Talk Superstation.
All right, let me just take a look at a couple of numbers here before I get into the outrage. The outrage, I'm sure, that started at least a peaceful end for a potential road rage incident on around the Harvest Christian Academy area in Kenyatta. Is that the right way to? Is it Kenyatta that area?
Yeah.
Kenyatta-ish?
Yeah, kind
It
of.
is Kenyatta.
Tota Kenyatta, Toto-ish? I don't know.
It's Tota Kenyatta Loop.
It's there, which needs to be widened, or in the very least, I don't know, supervised for a couple of times a day. All right, West Texas crude trading today at $80.56. That's actually up by about 4 or 5 cents from where it was yesterday. I'm hoping I've got a new number here for Tappa, so I can give you an idea of where that ends up. We're going to go to Malaysia, $85.50. It was trading at 36 the other day, so this is up by about a dime. From the last time I was looking at it, I believe 85. I'll put the numbers in perspective here in just a little bit. In the meantime, just to recognize that the cost of gasoline is probably going to be increasing sometime very, very soon. So do all of the things that you're supposed to do when you know the price of gas is going to be going up. And among those is put the appropriate amount of air in your tire. Underinflated, overinflated tires will cost you gas mileage. Another thing that you're going to want to do is to ensure that you have no junk in the trunk. I know you're looking around going, yeah, but I might need this. You know, we're doing the thing. You got all kinds of crap in there left over from when you were at the beach last month, and you're hesitant to take it out. It's costing you. And everybody these days is in some kind of. You're in the car. You get in the car to go someplace, to sit in the car and get and go and get food, or get in a line for a test, or go and get in a line for a vaccine or something. So we're spending a lot of time in the car, and even when it's just idling, it's still using gasoline. So a recommendation here is that you do as much as you possibly can, and ensure that you're getting top numbers, as many miles out of that gallon of gas that you can possibly get. All right, so yesterday this starts floating around in my WhatsApp. This is in the Village WhatsApp, and apparently the people that were just so fed up with what was going on over at Harvest, they just walked away from the car. I think this audio might be good here. The driver in the car narrating what he has seen. And it's these two folks here, this guy wearing the Micronesian dude uniform, and a lady walking behind him, and he says they apparently just kind of walked away from the car. You can see it.
This car in the road.
They left the car in the road, he says, and it's blocking oncoming traffic. They went and parked the car in the oncoming lane and then walked away from it. So everybody had to zipper their way through all the way out. And there's our intrepid reporter and hero for catching the video. And I don't know. What would you have done, Real Joe? I mean, at some point, do you holler at the people and go, hey, well, hey, whoo? Excuse me. Are you just going to leave that there?
No.
Now,
man.
when you
they probably
ran
run
out
out
of
of gas. Yeah.
But why would they pull off to the opposite
to the
side?
other side of
They're not from here.
Yeah. Maybe, yeah, left hand. We drive on that side of the road where we're from.
Oh.
I don't know. It's just
But it is a problem, and the mayor, Harvest, somebody needs to work it out because it's causing problems, not just for people who live in the area, but there's also businesses. And
folks that just need to get by, and
Yeah,
here's the way it works. I mean, between 6:45 and 8:30 in the morning, 8:15, you stay away from that area in either direction.
And in the afternoon.
And in the afternoon, you've got to stay away from that area in either direction. So at some point, somebody's got to say we ought to be able to widen the road over here. And if we can't widen the road, is there somebody that can come out there and maybe direct the traffic a little bit more?
It doesn't necessarily need that either, because if you look at the traffic flow at the opposite side of that Toto Cañada Loop at Carbolito Elementary School, I mean, granted, they have a smaller school population, but their traffic flow is in one, out one.
Oh, yeah.
And it doesn't take up 2 lanes
Entire
of traffic.
lanes, yeah. But
And when the school, when parents are waiting to pick up their kids, they pull off to the side of the road. They're not blocking the entire roadway.
I think it's one of those things where it just started happening.
And then you get the good Christian who wants to let everybody out.
Oh, no, guy.
You just let out 15 cars.
Hey, guy.
And I need to get
the
somewhere.
Good Samaritan.
Yeah. No. There's a lot of people. And this is the problem.
Jesus would only let 3 out.
Exactly. Jesus. How many apostles did I have? How many did I actually like? That's all you're going to get. Or how many nails did I have in the cross? I don't know. I don't know what number we're going to use to determine how many. But you're right. There's always that one guy that wants to direct traffic, as my dad would say, with the hood of his car. And the problem is there's people lined up behind him that are like, hey, we want to go too. Why are you doing that? It's one of those things, and you'll never be able to convince them that they're doing anything wrong, because in their head they've already vindicated themselves. Because I'm doing something. Look at me. I'm being righteous. I'm being holy. I'm being, kind to my fellow man. And that's the way we're supposed to be. And once somebody gets that into their head, which is the problem that we have with this pandemic now, is all of a sudden everybody is riding this moral high horse going, well, I want you to get vaccinated so that you won't be such a danger to all of the people that are around you. Look at me. I've gotten vaccinated, and yeah, I can still get COVID and I can still give COVID, but at least I've got vaccinated because I care about people. It's for your own good that you ought to get vaccinated. And any time they say that you got anybody that is in that frame of mind where they're trying to do something for somebody for their own good, no matter how bad it might be, it will be impossible to convince them otherwise, because they already feel like they're sainted and have an immediate bus pass to heaven when they die. 6:59 and change. Getting a note here from Simon Sanchez saying, what's the YouTube connection? I've never tried viewing via the YouTube. I want to check it out. Si, all you need to do is open a browser to YouTube and then do a search for The Ray Gibson Show. Not The Ray Gibson Show. My huge ego today. The Ray Gibson Show, and something will pop up and it'll give you an idea. And they should show you something where it will say the words live, and that's where we are. Comments are enabled in there. So just FYI, there will be some people in there that are going to go, hey, Simon Sanchez, watch. Hi, Simon. Loved you in the Consolidated Commission on the Utilities. Loved you at the legislature. Hi, Si. And then there might be other people that go, oh, it's the utility guy in there. So you might want to go in with I don't know, an alias account. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. The radio station's KUSG. I got you lots and lots to unpack here for you this morning as we go through eventually get to the table of contents. It'll be after Fox News Live.
How much are you paying for a gallon of gas? Lisa Brady, Fox News. Rising oil prices fueling higher gas prices, and more questions for the White House about inflation in general.
Our focus is on preventing inflationary pressures from being an issue in the future. And that's why the president is committed to moving forward with his Build Back Better agenda.
Spokeswoman Jen Psaki says outside economists have said the president's proposals would help in the long term. Republicans say the president's agenda is already hurting the economy in the short term, including at the pump.
It is now $3.28 for the average gallon of regular. That's up 8 cents in just the last week, up 11 cents since a month ago, and $1.10 since this time last year.
Fox Business's Jeff Flock. The White House also dismissing claims that vaccine mandates may be contributing to a labor shortage.
What we've seen business to business across the country is this is the way to save lives, create more certainty. It's good for the economy.
And Psaki accuses the Republican governors of Texas and Florida of putting politics over public health with orders that block COVID vaccine mandates. The governors say they support the vaccine, but not forcing people to get it. Florida's health department today issuing a more than $3 million fine on Leon County, the first to be accused of violating the state's new law against requiring people to show proof of COVID vaccination. 14 county workers were fired for not getting a shot. A coroner in Wyoming says Gabby Petito died by manual strangulation.
As far as the time of death, we are estimating 3 to 4 weeks from the time that the body was found.
Teton County coroner Dr. Brent Blue had already said it was homicide. That timing may coincide with the last known sighting of Petito in a Wyoming restaurant where witnesses said she and fiancé Brian Laundrie were arguing. He went home to Florida days later without her and is now missing. America is listening to Fox News.
Half a day, this is Josh here at APL. Our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more global markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated teams in Guam, Saipan, and on U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit www.apo.com.
A brief first court date for a Navy nuclear engineer, Jonathan Toby, and his wife facing espionage charges.
The couple allegedly sold classified material about nuclear reactors aboard the Navy's newest Virginia-class submarines in exchange for cryptocurrency to a person they thought represented a foreign power. In fact, that person was an undercover FBI agent. They were arrested last weekend at a dead drop site in West Virginia. Quote, the SD card was wrapped in plastic and placed between 2 slices of bread on a half of a peanut butter sandwich. The half sandwich was housed inside of a plastic bag.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin, a detention hearing set for Friday. The FDA just authorizing the first electronic cigarettes in the U.S., agreeing that R.J. Reynolds vaping products can help adult smokers either quit or reduce their use of cigarettes, part of a sweeping effort to bring scientific scrutiny to the vaping industry. After years of delays, the agency has rejected more than 1 million applications, mainly because of product appeal to underage teens. A majority of Americans calling drug prices too high in a new poll.
The poll from the Kaiser Family Foundation finds that 83% of the public favors allowing the government to negotiate lower drug prices. The poll finds that less than half of the public has confidence in congressional Democrats or President Biden to do the right thing on drug prices. The poll even worse for Republicans at only 33%. This as 1 in 5 U.S. adults age 65 and older say that it's very or somewhat difficult for them to afford their prescriptions. And amid a legislative battle over drug pricing and other issues between both moderate and progressive Democrats who control Congress.
Fox's Jeff Manasso. A late sell-off on Wall Street, the Dow dropped 117 points. I'm Lisa Brady, and this is Fox News.
Guy Benson.
There's so much that's new with the Eat Fresh, Refresh at Subway restaurants that we can't possibly fit it all into one radio spot, but I'm gonna try. There are amazing new toppings like hickory smoked bacon, bacon and smashed avocado. Try your favorite sub on the new breads like the hearty multigrain wheat or the artisan Italian white bread. Not to mention Subway's thicker, juicier steak. That's all I have time for. You gotta refresh to be fresh. Only at Subway.
Over the past 5 years, confidential data and network breaches have doubled for small and large businesses, resulting in huge financial loss. At GTA, our multi-threat security bundle is a cost-effective solution monitored by our team of experts, ready to detect known malware and stop new evolving cyber threats before entering your network.
Protect your business with confidence and call 671-644-1000 or visit gta.net/enterprise. GTA, we start with you.
Hafude, konnichiwa,
Patois, ciao. Enter for a chance to win the 76 Circle K World Cuisine Giveaway. Be one of 3 lucky winners to win a passport of free food from around the world at over 15 different local restaurants. Just stop by any 76 Circle K, purchase $35 or more in fuel to get an entry form. Drive by today and taste the world with 76 Circle K's World Cuisine Giveaway. Visit 76circlekguam.com for more details. Some conditions apply. Circle K, take it easy.
Half a day at 7:06. I'm Mona Silva Tyron with a look at your local news on the point. 3 more COVID-related fatalities have been confirmed. The Joint Information Center saying that the 3 deaths were of 3 women in their 70s. All of them had underlying health conditions and none of them were vaccinated. One of the ladies also confirmed to have been brought to the hospital dead on arrivals. Meanwhile, the JIC report also says 185 new cases of COVID-19 has been confirmed out of 1,444 people tested on October 11th. 74 of those cases were identified through contact tracing. Our total now is at 16,461 officially reported cases with 217 deaths. The CAR score is at 24.7. There's also 56 people in the hospital with 10 in intensive care. Meanwhile, the testing and vaccination continues today as scheduled. One thing that seems to have been paused is the processing of requests for vaccination exemptions from the Department of Public Health. The Guam Daily Post reporting that of the 175 requests that have been filed with Public Health, only 1 has been granted for health reasons. The Post says that the Department of Public Health is working with the Attorney General's office in updating their policy with regard to COVID vaccine exemptions. Meanwhile, Public Health did issue some new guidance with regard to sports activities. It deals with the implementation of mitigation measures, also with face mask requirements and physical distancing while attending these sporting events, non-scholastic organized sporting events, and training and competition. It also clarifies areas of health and hygiene, cleaning and disinfecting. Well, more news right after this.
As we get back to business, Docomo Pacific is ready to keep you connected. Introducing Business Bundles Plus. Build a customized bundle with the right internet, mobile, TV, and phone plan for your business. Pay for exactly what you need and nothing you don't. And the more services you add, the more you save. Plus, you can rely on Docomo Pacific's fastest, most reliable network and 24/7 customer support. So build your own bundle and save today with Business Bundles Plus. Call 671-688-2677. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Visitor arrivals on Guam has seen an all-time low, with GVB looking at a meager 60,000 visitors in 2021, most of them military. And while the agency works to rebuild the visitor industry, they are looking at new incentives to get people here. Incentives might soon be offered to military family members to come and visit their service members who are assigned here. The Post reports GVB might consider airline and hotel discounts. They went before the legislature yesterday to update senators on GVB's plans. Updates also on their successful Airbnb program, which has attracted thousands of visitors from Asia and around the world to get vaccinated on Guam and a bit of a vacation. GVB's president, Carl Gutierrez, says the Biden administration, if they go ahead with their plan to ban unvaccinated foreign travelers from entering the U.S., it could be detrimental to their program. And a meeting was also held yesterday with the Guam Congressman Mike Nicholas, Senator Jim Moylan, and the Mayor's Council President Jesse Allig, the 3 discussing ARP funds to support Guam villages. The Congressman, St. Nicholas, says he's surprised to hear that of the $553 million in coronavirus recovery funds, none of the money was plugged directly into the villages. The senator and the mayor will be reaching out to Adelut to get a response as to where that money went and if they will be plugging that into the mayor's council. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
You're going to go, what money? What money are you talking about?
$32 million.
I don't know. Les? You seen that money? Ed, Byrne, where's the money? You got it? Tell you what, we'll look for it. We'll get Crystal Paco and everybody put on your glasses, and we'll go and see if we can find this money, and we'll get right back to you. In the meantime, you guys don't worry about a thing. Now I'm wondering, there's a picture. Can I show it up on the screen here? Hold on. Yeah, there it is. Concerns raised on ARP funding for villages, and so we've got the pictures here, and I'll put it up on the screen so you can see it. One of them is Mike St. Nicholas, because he was in June. Oh, by the way, he's on Guam.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Did you find him?
I'm trying,
Happy
man.
hour, bro.
I've been trying.
And there's Senator Jimmy Craig and the two of in the middle of them, and then we got Mayor Jess Allig, and you can vote for Jess Allig in the Pika's Best of today, and he's hard to miss because he got that big ass ad up on the Pika thing. Him and Junie.
Okay, yeah.
But so if you're from Petey, or if you want to live in Petey, or if you just like that Petey magic that Patrick Palomo's always playing about, then go ahead and vote for him. But as I'm looking at the picture, the story is interesting. Money and $32 million, and what they obviously the mayors can always use some additional money to do whatever it is that the mayors do. I have no idea, but concern raised on it. But I'm looking at the picture and I'm going, is Jess Allig going to be one of these guys as lieutenant governor?
Oh, no, he's probably going to be chief of staff.
Come on now.
That's their chief of staff.
Come on, just let me just play around with it, guys. Come on, because it's a natural thing. This is.
But is he going to talk to you when he's the governor?
Biology. Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
Okay.
But your brain is wired to make connections. Your brain is wired to do that, and so I guarantee that I'm not the only one that was looking at that picture and came up with the same thing. Somebody going, oh, Mike St. Nicholas run for governor, but he's a Democrat. Is it possible that he would run with Jimmy Craig? Now, there is precedent for that. Francis Santos, once upon a time,
Allig is also a Republican,
and he could run with Jimmy Craig as well. But now Jimmy Craig's Kaleo ran a Republican ran with Francis Santos, a Democrat.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? Once upon a time. I mean, it was unsuccessful, but it was provocative. And these are different times than they were back then. Is the party of my father, is the party of my grandfather that much of an influence on any of the voters, or could they just look at that as an interesting and provocative team and say, well, if they survive a primary, I'm voting for them. High risk of rip currents and a high surf advisory in effect until this afternoon along north-facing reefs, so be careful out there. We got east-facing reefs for rip currents as well. Today, partly cloudy with isolated showers. Ooh, it almost sounds like a tropical day, doesn't it? Thunderstorms could be in the forecast. Winds from the east about 10 miles an hour. Then we'll shift to the south later in the afternoon because we've got a couple of ugly systems out there. Highs about 88 degrees, and overnight lows tonight should be about 77. But it's 77 cool degrees when the wind blows, and it's like that. It's got so much moisture in it, boy. I mean, that just hits you, cuts you to the bone, doesn't it? It makes me go from inside, get my jacket, baby, because it's cold outside. Into the weekend, mostly cloudy, scattered showers, and maybe on some thunderstorms as well. Daytime highs today, as I said, 88 degrees with a heat index. It'll feel like 94. Sunrise this morning at 6:11, and sunset tonight going to be super early, 6:03, 7:13, 6:0. So I got to tell you, 6:03, and that means that you got to make your reservations for chow earlier. You got to make the phone call to wherever it is that you're picking up a platter or something earlier, because normally you're going, oh, I'll wait until after sunset, and it's like 8 o'clock, and everybody's already eaten. But now it's like 6:15, and things are just now starting to jam at all the different restaurants and kitchens that we've got around the island. Just my advice to you this morning. 7:14. There's news and weather together here on The Point.
There's a steak with your name on it at the new Longhorn Steakhouse. Flo's Filet is an exceptionally tender center cut. The New York Strip is a steakhouse classic, and Longhorn's famous outlaw ribeye is well marbled and fire grilled. Longhorn is ready and waiting to pour you a margarita and make you a steak. Longhorn Steakhouse is open daily from 11 to 10 p.m.
Choosing health insurance for my family is difficult. I need to know our health insurance will protect us now and in the future. Take Care members have access to the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs, and a high-quality credentialed network of on- and off-island healthcare providers, including the convenient one-stop FHP Health Center and urgent care. My family choose Take Care. Your family should also consider choosing Take Care. Call 671-647-3526 for more information. Take Care, our island, your health plan.
Isn't that sweet? So I going to do a commercial for Nissan, and one of the big deals that I've been telling you about recently is the fact that that they've got the all new 2022 Nissan Frontier arriving, like it's like coming. But I got word yesterday. Are you ready for the big news? They're here, but they're at the port. They're at the port waiting. Yeah, I guess they need a bunch of drivers. Did you ever do that when you were a kid? We used to do that to raise. We used to do that to raise funds for like prom and stuff at Father Duenas. So we'd get a bunch of the guys that had driver's licenses or could fake it, and we'd go to the car dealers like Nissan and say, okay, well we got 20 guys, and you got 100 cars over on the lots at the port you need moved over to the lot, and we just kind of bicycle ourselves back and forth and drive the cars from the port to the lot.
Nice.
And somebody's going to be doing that with your new Nissan Frontier. They may end up buying it. You know what? I like it so much, I'm just going to keep going home. Completely redesigned on the inside. Now it's got all the technology that you need. Super strong engine, 310 horsepower and 3.8-liter V6 engine. So you got a lot of power when you need it. When it comes to towing, yeah, hitch it up, buddy. 6,270 pounds worth of towing capabilities and more. As soon as they get in, you want to be the first to test drive because you're going to be one of the first to buy. So start putting your deal together with the experts at NissanGuam.com. Ray Gibson Show also brought to you by the coffee place out in the back. Literally, in the backyard of the radio station is a place called 11's, and on a hot day like today, you can rack it up with some incredible fresh drinks that they've got there. Super refreshing, mouth-watering pastries, sandwiches, and coffees, and plenty more. The number is 858-2180 for more information. And don't forget, vote for them at Pika's Best.
Any speaker, anytime. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
All right, 7:17 in the morning. Just going to take a couple of minutes with Officer Paul Tafal for the Guam Police Department. And a quick thought here, Paul. What is when you get in trouble on the road and you just kind of walk away from your car like these people did up in Totu yesterday? Just how much trouble can you get into there, bro?
Well, it depends really on the totality of the circumstances. You can easily just get the citation, you can easily, failure to comply, or there may be more elements that may need to be explored by the officer as to laying down the charges for the arrest or, a citation.
Well, I mean, this ought to be there. There ought to be, people use that road. I'm talking about the road that links from the McDonald's down to Harvest and that area. And apparently there was a couple that had enough of traffic or ran out of gas. They parked their car in the oncoming lane and then abandoned it. And I'm thinking that I don't know what you take every traffic citation in the book and throw it at them. Can we do that?
You may, yeah. I mean, like I said, the elements, if it's a Title 16 violation or if it leads more into Title 9, it really the officer observation, the determination. So understanding that, I hope it wasn't during Harvest's pickup time because that would have been, oh, man, if you've seen the traffic going into Harvest.
Oh, well, we were actually, Mon and I were talking about that. I was going to call you about Police Week activities, and I don't mean to give the folks over at Harvest a hard time about this. I mean, it's one of those things that everybody knows. If you know, you know, as we say on Guam. And yeah, it looks like that might have been right around car line time at the school. And it's been going on for years. There's a lot of traffic going in and out of the village, and a couple of times a day when the school is in session, traffic can get kind of snarled out there. Is that something that should the police go down in direct traffic? Should the mayor go down in direct traffic? Should somebody at Harvest go out there in direct traffic? I know they're doing it on the inside. Once you get into campus, they've got supervision on car lines so that people can get in and out as quickly as possible. The problem is actually on that road. So what can the police do about that?
So we've assisted many schools in addressing issues such as this. We sat down with the respective neighborhood watch groups. We sat down with the mayors, and we worked with the schools and coming up with a solution. Time, simple solution is difference of time, allowing the traffic to alleviate. We'll do the grade school level first. The kids will wait, and that way it speeds up the process. Teason too, it gets cumbersome a lot. With the 3 schools.
Well, Teason. Well, the ridiculous thing about Teason is there's hundreds of people that report to work at Teason every day, and there's only one way to get in there, and that's over across from the Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, you're correct. You're correct. So we work closely with them, and that's part of really addressing, that's part of the services and the duties that's carried forth by the Guam Police Department is to ensure that there's movement of traffic and to ensure that there's no delay. So that can be assessed. Working closely with the mayor, working closely with the schools.
Okay, so now you got me completely thinking about a whole different subject. Never mind Harvest, Christian. You go take care of that, and just send somebody down there and make sure the traffic is moving. Are you going? Are you going? Are you going? And make sure that people stop getting into the habit of being good Samaritans and letting 20 people through.
Yeah, you're correct. You're correct. That, it's something that needs to be assessed. It's something that needs to be, a full assessment. And of course, traffic engineering. Maybe, DPW too, we send a lot of information when we do traffic engineering, traffic crashes based on our crash reports. It's annotated at the lighting, the surface area, the road width, and everything. It's all annotated in a report, and that's how we come up with, the raised median. That's how we come up with the traffic lights. We don't need any more raised medians. We don't need any more traffic lights. If, the Ray Gibson rule is if you put a traffic light up somewhere, you have to take one down from somewhere else. I think we're all done with that. And now I'm going to put this up on the screen here, and the next time you get with your boys in traffic, see if we can talk to somebody. And never mind the hospital at Eagle Field. Can you know what we need here? And I'm showing it up on the screen. This is the intersection of 8, 10, and 16, and there is there is another way that you can get onto Teason, and that is it's a short jump going from Route 8 and then punching a hole. In fact, there is already a hole there. You know this. It's got K-rails in front of it that leads from Route 8 onto what is called Seagull Road or Seagull Avenue on Teason. And if you did that, that would allow for an additional way for traffic to get in and out of Teason as opposed to the one intersection over by Golden Sea. Yeah, you're correct. Prior to the transition of NAS Guam to the government, there were many ingress and egress out of
and I don't know, somebody over at the airport went crazy, and then they put up fences everywhere. It's double fence like a penitentiary, and including that one there. If you just talk to go Faison Admiral and see if there's a way that we can get something going in between here and there, and that would really, really help out. Could you imagine being able to go straight from Route 10 right across the street onto Teason? How many people would that save time for?
You're correct. You're
just do it. Just do it. Paulie?
That can be absorbed.
723, you work on that. Anyway, so happy Police Week. What are you guys up to these days? Have we already had the resolution signing and all of that stuff?
Yes, the resolution signing is today with our great senators down at the Legislative Hall, and then tomorrow we're celebrating our employees of the year, our police officer of the year. So really quick, the time that I'm available. Our police officer of the year goes to Police Officer 1 Ricky Camacho, who's assigned to Investigation Division. Our civilian employee of the year goes to Miss Anne Marie Cruz. She's a program coordinator. She's the one that's responsible for all our beautiful equipment. Our manager of the year goes to Lieutenant Riddell Sevilla. He's assigned to Services Admin Division. He's, that instrumental during the pandemic. He was the one that was working in providing he and his team with the records and ID, the police clearance, the traffic crash reports, the firearms ID, and everything during the pandemic. So he was.
Well, that's the guy I got to talk to. That's the guy. That's the guy I got to talk to because I got to get my my permit renewed.
Yes, give us a call there. Our civilian volunteer police reserve, again, the Guam Police Department really pays a lot of tribute to our CVPRs. Our police reserve goes to Servino Uribe. He is an employee with the Guam Police Department, but in his spare time, he puts into service. Our supervisor of the year, our civilian support team, the GPD cannot function without them. It goes to Miss Annalyn Akiyama. She is a criminalist 3 assigned to our Forensic Science Division. If you're following all our cases, our major cases with homicides, if you're looking that our team has actually been getting convictions based on evidence and everything, science, testimony, and what have you, Science is everything. When you come and testify, she's a part of that team of preparing and, of course, testifying on behalf of the prosecution side and the Guam Police Department, the work. And last but not least, our unit citation of excellence goes to our Special Operations Division. And we would like to, this Covenant Award wouldn't have been possible if it wasn't for the assistance from our other law enforcement agencies that assisted SOD with the QFAC, with the ISOFAC. So Guam Airport Authority, the Superior Courts of Guam Marshals, our Customs and Quarantine, our officers, the Port Authority of Guam, every law enforcement agency that made this happen during the pandemic, the onset of pandemic, and where we are now. So it's really attributed to the hardworking men and women of law enforcement pulling together and coming up with a solution the fear factor going in, the uncertainty, the unknowns. Where we are now with COVID, we know now how to address it. You should have seen during when our SED guys, they were wearing Tyvek suits and everything, and it was like, okay, these are level 3, these are level 2 suits and everything, and it's it was just the unknown. But here are our brave men and women of SOD. Here are the assigned officers from other law enforcement agencies that were assisting us. Of course, head first, man, really going into the fire and the uncertainty of whether you can contract COVID just by waving at somebody.
Oh, dude, I remember in the 80s when guys first started wearing gloves because you never knew of what about AIDS back in those days. My understanding is that Stephen Ignacio is also Chief of the Year. Did he get that accolade?
He has worked diligently. He and the management, Chief Ignacio with Major Manny Chung, our acting police commander, and all our commanders have been working, working through the pandemic. I personally work closely with, all precincts and all command and seeing the work that's put in.
Now you're bucking for a raise. I got to let you go.
Paulie, I had to throw that.
No, it's all right. Well, I gave you the opportunity. I got to run. I got Jerry Roberts ready for the extra point. So I'll talk to you pretty soon. And Biba Police Week. I'll see you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. Take care.
No problem, Eagle. I appreciate it. 7:27 in the morning. Yeah, I probably could have asked him about that the killing over the weekend, but I think they're still putting together paperwork, and the investigation continues on that. Mostly, we'll take a quick look at what's happening on the numbers here, and all of the markets are down. S&P 500, NASDAQ, the Dow off, all of them in the red. The biggest loser is the Dow, losing 117 points. FTSE, Nikkei, Hang Seng, Shanghai, and the DAX all down as well. Big winners on the Dow. Looks like we've got Nike and Salesforce. NASDAQ led by Okta and CrowdStrike.com. On the numbers, West Texas crude this morning, $80.50. Is that right? Wait, hold on a second. Let me just take it. $80.56 for a barrel of West Texas crude. That number is up from where it was yesterday by about a nickel. Also up, but up by 3 nickels or something like that is Tapas. Tapas was trading the other day. We were looking at that at $85.38. Today, $85.50 for a barrel of Tapas. So trading in that narrow range, but that narrow range is a lot higher than it originally was. Real Joe, Bitcoin number me, man.
56,000. Well, no, 55,635.
Okay.
55.
All right. And a piece of good news that I might follow from CNBC.com, methane from cow burps and farts. They actually use the word farts on CNBC. A big contributor to climate change. Feeding them seaweed may help. Here's the thinking: if it helps with the cows, will that help with us? I mean, could I go and get that Van Camps and just eat a couple of big cans of pork and beans here and not have to worry about that if I just throw down some seaweed at the end of all of this? You know what I mean? Is it possible? Jerry Roberts got that.
Now we see.
Have you been experimenting, Jerry Roberts?
No, but now we see the price of seaweed's going to explode. One more thing that we can blame on Biden.
Okay, so we're going to go late into Jerry Roberts. You're going to stick around on the other side of Mono with the news, because you sent me, as I'm sitting around looking at the world yesterday and pondering, where the truth is in this whole Southwest Airlines story. You send me that screen cap of somebody saying, "Oh yeah, 700 flights today. Going to be about 1,100, 1,200 flights tomorrow." Air traffic controllers staying away from the towers in droves in a couple of major hub cities. But Southwest Airlines and their pilot union saying, "No, everything is okay. We got a company barbecue coming up here. Everybody's all signed up. Pilots are going to bring coleslaw, and flight attendants are going to be in charge of all of the 3-legged races and all of that stuff."
Yeah. So, and I saw a video of somebody who was representing the pilots on, I forget whose program it was.
Yeah.
But he said that, oh no, this nothing to do with an organized thing, but we're tired of what's happening, and we're saying no. Individuals can say no, but this is not an organized effort to do anything.
Individually, a lot of people are saying no. It just happened to be coinciding. Well, and apparently, according to that thing you sent me, the reason why it's all happening at the same time is because everybody that's got a couple of weeks worth of sick coming to them and a couple of weeks of vacation coming to them, you've got to use it or lose it if you quit or you get terminated. Yeah. So they're taking the time.
Taking the time. There's another wrinkle to this now.
Ooh.
Southwest came out and said, and this is part and parcel to why they enforced the Biden's basically illegitimate sort of mandate, because it hasn't been carved in stone yet.
No.
They've done nothing but issue a press release and say, we hope business does this.
As we've said.
Business picked up on it and ran with it. Well,
because the businesses wanted to do it anyway, but they didn't want it. They didn't want it to look like it came from their home office.
Southwest is a federal contractor. They have contracts with the federal government.
Therefore,
so they are under Biden's executive order for anybody over 100 employees, right, to have the vaccine mandate. Well, now in Texas yesterday,
I saw that
Governor Abbott said there will be no vaccine mandates for any company that is registered to do business in our state.
For any reason, regardless of whether you got a federal ticket or not.
Whatever. So now you've pitted Texas up, Abbott against Biden, Texas against the feds, and Southwest is sitting there saying, well, do we go with the president's side and because of what his executive order, or do we go with Abbott's side, his executive order, or do we pick up and move the company somewhere else? I don't know.
Google is in that. Amazon is in that. There are all kinds of massive companies. It's Texas, for heaven's sakes. Everything is in Texas, one way or the other. And you get all of these companies that are going to find themselves at loggerheads.
And now you find, we talked about yesterday about the global COVID summit with 11,500 doctors coming together saying enough is enough. So I think the next few months are going to be very interesting for the pandemic issues and the relationship of the federal government to state governments.
Yes.
Also is going to be highlighted the next few months.
7:32 in the morning, and the funny thing about history is it repeats itself from time to time, doesn't it? And you might want to go back to the 1860s to see the last time there was a big scrap between federal policy and what the states were looking at. 7:32 in the morning, Jerry Robertson, the Extra Point, on the other side of Montesilva Tire with her look at big news and headlines. This one in particular brought to you by Ken and Karen over at Top End Pest Control. You got varmints, they'll take care of them. That's what they do for a living. 487-5657. Also brought to you by Burger King. Well, and I was going to say it's Wednesday, but the big day to wait for this month is going to be Fridays when they do Chicken Fries Friday. Today, swing by BK and start your day with the new Breakfast Bacon King. It's waiting for you right now. Lowly Camet of Remax Diamond Realty is going to take care of your real estate needs and concerns. 688-6743. Mana, what happened?
Well, 3 more individuals are related, their deaths related to COVID-19. That from the JIC report this morning. All of them women who were in their 70s. None of them were vaccinated. The JIC also says there are 185 new cases out of 1,400 people who were tested, and the CAR score is at 24.7. Meanwhile, Public Health has hit the pause on their review of vaccination exemptions. They are working with the Attorney General on that policy. The Guam Daily Post reports that out of 175 people who've requested vaccination exemptions, only one of them has been granted for medical reasons. And GVB went before the legislature yesterday to give them an update on their destination development strategy and plans. GVB saying in the last year, they've only seen 60,000 visitors come to Guam. They are looking at new incentives, though, that could include incentivizing travel to military families to come visit their service members staying here on Guam. And those are your headlines right here on The Point.
And apparently, if they don't get on Southwest Airlines, they might actually make it out here. But the question that I've got, Jer, is, everything equal and opposite reaction, right? So we've got Southwest, and there may be others that are in the midst of this. Southwest just the biggest and most notable right now. But in addition to airplanes flying humans around, airplanes also carry a whole lot of what we like to call expensive air freight.
Cargo.
And so how much of the cargo is going to be experiencing a slip if we don't have a lot of guys in the pointy end of the airplane?
Well, the guy that was on this show that I was watching, this pilot, and he made an excellent point. He said, it's not just, the air carriers. The entire transportation industry right now is up for grabs.
Truck drivers?
Truck drivers. I mean, ships, everything right now is
Train engineers
is at a standstill. So when you look at it, you've got a major crisis because the supply chain is breaking down now, and we bring everything in, everything. So when you look at that, I mean, we are, probably getting to be in the shelves are getting bare in some cases, right?
They didn't have garlic the other night.
Yeah. So, I mean, but we're going to experience some of that. I think they'll come out of it. But this right now, Biden's presidency is hanging by a string. If he can't deal with this, then, and it gets much worse, then you're going to see serious repercussions in midterm elections.
Oh, I think that's
Anyway,
already. Yeah,
well,
that's,
I mean, you're going to see. You could see a landslide coming because it's just. I mean, the fabric of America is breaking down right now under this guy's presidency.
Yep. And his vice president doesn't seem to be any more competent than he is. If anybody even looks in that direction,
she's invisible.
Exactly. So what you're going to see a whole bunch of people exiting Congress. The House and the Senate might be made up of a whole bunch of different people coming in the next election.
Ask yourself,
can we wait that long though?
Well, she's invisible. Okay, and she's being mocked left and right, even by Democrats at this point.
Yeah.
So, and then you've got a president that even a lot of Democrats are saying, good grief, right? I mean, his mental capacity and the decisions coming out. See, then you have to ask the question, who's running the store? Well, I mean, if she's not on the sideline capable of influencing, and he's really not all there, who is running the store?
And the next most powerful person is Nancy Pelosi. Well, there's two theories, and neither one of them is any good. Fear number one: Biden is in charge. Fear number two: Biden's not in charge. Somebody else is. Well, who is it?
Who is it?
And nobody knows the answer to that question, although the speculation is Obama isn't all that far away from...
Well, and why would that be? And the reason is because a lot of the people that Biden surrounded himself with are the people that were in the Biden administration, or in the Obama administration.
Yes. 7:36 in the morning, interesting questions, and we'll break away from the interesting conversation there and go into something as interesting. Jerry Roberts is a trainer and brings some of those skills to you on a daily basis here on the radio station. We call it the Extra Point, and it's brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and the team at First Hawaiian Bank.
Today, we help I-shapes and generalists make the transformation to T-shape. Does that sound strange? You weren't with us yesterday? I will explain all of this, and hopefully we'll all get a chance to expand some horizons. That's coming next on the Extra Point.
Raise your glasses for a toast, because First Hawaiian Bank now turns your meals into a reason to celebrate. Every dollar you spend on dining purchases, including fast food, earns you up to 3 times United miles. Simply use your First Hawaiian Bank United credit card and start reaping the most rewarding credit card experience on island. Terms and restrictions apply. Don't have a First Hawaiian Bank credit card? Visit any branch or FHB.com to apply today. With First Hawaiian Bank, it all starts with yes.
When's the last time you looked at your homeowner's insurance?
A homeowner's policy protects much more than just your house. It also protects you against claims from someone being hurt on your property. If a visitor is injured at your place, how much are you covered for? The smart thing to do is get the answer today.
That's the Insurance Extra Point. Get out there and make something good happen today by calling Guahan Insurance Services at 475-1162 or visit us at the Camacho Landmark Center in Tamuning.
To recap from yesterday, I-shapes in the workplace are pretty much, and don't get caught up in the in the terminology, don't worry about that, but the I-shapes are one-dimensional, pretty much. They are known for one thing. They do one thing extremely well, but not much else. Now, T-shapes are also expert at one thing, but they also have other skills that may complement that and provide value for customers and therefore for employers. We call them Expert Plus. Finally, generalists are relatively competent at many things, but wouldn't be considered to be an expert at any one of them. In the uncertain economy that is before us, having an extra marketable skill could be the difference for many people, and we'll talk about that today. First, some I-shaped companies and individuals with that one skill are very well positioned to ride out whatever bumps and potholes the Guam economy will present in the next few years. Their market niche, their specialized talents, maybe their political pull, whatever it is, they'll do well. It's virtually guaranteed. They are not the majority. Generalists may have to be more aggressive in letting people know what services they offer, but if they hustle, many of them should be fine. For the rest of us, it could be more challenging. There will be I-shapes who are good, very good at one thing only, but they'll find it difficult to make it on that one thing. We'll also see generalists who have a tough time. Even though they're good at many things, that might not be enough to get them by. So, what's the answer for both? The answer is evolving from where they are now into that T-shape. Great at one thing, competent at other things. The answer is to slightly modify a famous phrase and become a jack of all trades and master of one. For the I-shape who is already an expert in one field, they would simply expand and develop skills in a few other areas, perhaps associated with their specific expertise. For the generalist who is already able to do many things pretty well, they would select one and over time become an expert at that. I know of a good appliance repairman named Marvin who was doing pretty well in his business. Marvin could fix just about anything. Then during a heat wave where he lived in Houston, Texas, his AC died, and he sweated for almost a week because all the repairmen in the city were busy. Finally, he got some help and did the repair himself. When he found out how much it would have cost him, and that Houston repair or AC repair staff were always busy, he decided to learn that business at a local trade school. Within a year, Marvin was competent, had equaled his appliance repair income, and did so in his spare time. He'd still fix washers and dryers and refrigerators if you asked him, but he mostly focused on his aircon business. Marvin gained certifications and was seen as an expert. He went from generalist to expert plus in just a few years. Another story of transformation, Paula was a chief financial officer at $1 billion company and paid extremely well. However, the job was beyond stressful. Then Paula's sister had trouble with her small business and needed help with finances and marketing and help to build an online presence. Paula was tired, but she jumped in. And within a month, the company was on solid financial ground. She knew little about marketing and internet business, but she went online, got involved with groups, and got the answers necessary. It didn't end there. Paula's sister was part of a civic group with many female business owners, and most of them had similar problems. Several begged Paula to help them. The work was very different from her normal routine and required some different skills, but she grew into that role. Paula found that she was energized by working with these entrepreneurs, not burned out like she was in her day job. But wait, it gets better. Paula then noticed that this energy rolled over into the day job, and she was better able to tolerate those pressures. If you're an I-shape and great at one thing like Paula, can you identify some other skills that would complement what you do now? If you're a generalist like Marvin, can you imagine one skill you could build up to expert plus status? Here's a quick list of what I think you can do. Number one, whether it's to add expert status or develop complementary skills for your existing expert status, determine what will help you get to where you want to be, and if there is a market for it once you learn. Number two, if the skill is complementary, how much do you need to learn for the skill to begin to impact your revenue? Number three, find out how you can learn those skills. That might be a community college, trade school, or perhaps online courses. 4, develop a simple plan to gain the learning and then to apply it. And 5, work that plan. Changing times, and they are upon us, and there's more to come. Changing times require that we be willing to change. Should you be thinking about that? That's the extra point. Be responsible and make something good happen today. For 93.3, The Ray Gibson Show, Guahan Insurance Services, and First Hawaiian Bank. I'm Jerry Roberts.
Okay, I just downloaded an app. I'll tell you how it works next week. It's one of those things where I want to say it's a chronotype. They're looking at different chronotypes of individuals, and I suppose what they want to do is to try to help you figure out where in the day your biggest energy surges are going to be. And that way, if you know that you're like a morning person, that's where you front load the hard stuff. If you've got some easier tasks to do, and do those later. Or vice versa. If you're kind of lame in the morning until you've had your 18th cup of coffee, maybe we'll go with the creative stuff. Maybe we'll go with the easy stuff. And if you know that you're one of those afternoon people that can plow through, there's a different chronotype for you. And I think it's kind of interesting. So I'll let you know how that works after I take all the quizzes, and it tells me whether I'm a wolf or a bear or a lion or a dolphin, or I hope there's a monkey in there. I hope there's one in there where you're not suited to do any real heavy lifting at any time of the day. All creative, all minor stuff here. What was that? Was it something I did the other day? And I got to tell you how pleased I was with it. I finally gotten around to having the time and the materials in front of me, and you're going to go, oh my God, I can't believe you spent any time on this at all. But we've got a WhatsApp, right? And on the WhatsApp, you've got a profile picture. And somebody had changed the profile picture to something innocuous a couple of years back, and I never bothered to change it, but it always bothered me looking at it going, I should have the logo and the word WhatsApp up there somewhere. And I finally, like I said, got everything together in one place. And I don't know, it took me about 20 minutes. To get it all done once I had all that stuff and then that was it for the rest of the day. I did my victory lap, and okay, that's it, I'm done. Somebody says, hey, you want to go up to the transmitter today and change the tower? I said, no. I've already changed the profile picture. I've done my heavy lifting for the day. So ponder that if you can think. And there's a lot of different places in your life, including love life, where you might find, it's true, you might find that there needs to be some timing and synchronicity issues that can get worked on.
Oh, so
that has nothing to do. It's a different kind of training program we need to talk about there. 746. Who's coming up a little bit later?
There's opportunities absolutely everywhere.
Yes. All you need to do is, it's like the love languages. Look that up while you're on it as well. That's Jerry Roberts in the Extra Point. Tomorrow we'll throw some more conspiracy theories about what's going to be happening with the airline business, the strength of the pilots, period. Never mind the pilots union or the representatives or any bargaining agreements they've got in any one or two particular airlines. Think about an entire planet, an entire nation of airline pilots all deciding at the same time that, we're not nuts about this Biden guy, and we're not crazy about this policy, and especially the ones that were all military background, going, we don't leave our buddies behind. If he can't come to work, I'm not coming to work. How's that?
Well, what the guy said was very interesting. Actually, I think it was in the thing I sent to you. And it says, these are military pilots, most of them, like 80%, as you say.
Yep.
And what he said was, we're standing up because we're the last line. Because after us, they're coming for you. Mm-hmm. And that means that if they can get all of the airline employees to fall in line and do this, that means the next step is what they've already said. They've already said at one time. Mm-hmm. They will require everybody to be vaccinated in order to fly. That's the next step after this.
Can you imagine? Not just a negative test, but you have to be vaccinated to get on an airplane.
Which means you would never be able to leave Guam if you weren't vaccinated.
7:47 in the morning. Not that I got anywhere I want to go. Is that my buddy Darrow on the line?
It is, sir.
We'll jump into a conversation with Frank Bloss Jr. in a sec. Start your day with Burger King's new Breakfast Bacon King. Wow, crispy bacon and sausage, eggs and American cheese with a buttery maple spread on a warm brioche bun. Top this off with our crispy hash browns in a hot brewed cafe. Treat yourself like the king you are. Enjoy the new Breakfast Bacon King. Served every day during breakfast hours, 6:30 to 10:30. Please wear your mask and practice social distancing. BK Tumanbay, Agutnya, Micronesia Mall, and the airport. BK your way.
Becoming a homeowner can be a scary process, but it doesn't have to be, especially if you have the right guidance. Break through your fears and go to a real estate professional that will ensure a higher chance of success. That person is Lolita Camet of RE/MAX Diamond Realty. Lolita also specializes in commercial leasing, land sales, local residential sales leasing, and military and corporate relocation. Don't be afraid. Call Lolita Camet from RE/MAX Diamond Realty at 688-6743. That's 688-6743.
Hey, build a customized bundle with the right internet? Every once in a while, I like to change up my voice a little bit. Did you still know it was me?
Yes, Connery.
All right,
Sound
right
like Connery.
internet, mobile, TV, and phone plan for your business. I got fiber in here from Docomo. You can do the same thing. More services you add, the more you save with their Business Bundles Plus. Call or visit today. Ask for Jeff. He'll take care of you. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Guam Auto Spot has the best selection in Buick, GMC, Mitsubishi, and used cars like the 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage starting at $127 per paycheck. 0 down. Call 671-478-AUTO to take a test drive or get pre-approved online at GuamAutospot.com.
Top End Pest Control is who you call for all your pest control needs. Got a problem with roaches, ants, spiders, rodents, fleas, ticks, termites? No problem. They do it all. Top End Pest Control is a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business and HubZone certified, serving Guam since 2012. Call them today for a quote, 487-5657, or email topendpest@gmail.com. Check them out on Facebook at Top End Pest Control and give them a like. Top End Pest Control for all your pest control needs.
God. All right, we'll jump into the conversation with Darrow in a second, but I normally would do traffic here, and for the most part, it's basic intersection traffic. But I'm looking at some ugly traffic around the post office, main facility area, and the guard shack, and I don't know, maybe that's I think it ends up over by Frank's house. As a matter of fact, Frank, I'm looking at traffic southbound on Route 16 towards the intersection of 8, 10, and 16. Can you see anything out the back window? Is why there's traffic slow there?
Out my back window is the Basilica and Academy.
Oh, you're already at work. Okay, never mind. All right, fine. All right, well, I'm looking at ugly traffic there. Also, Marine Corps Drive just before you get to where is that? From around Bank Pacific until you get around there. Expect some delays. Southbound Marine Corps Drive. Also, a little bit of traffic on Route 10 Alpha by the Guam International Airport. 10 away from the top of the hour. Frank Blas Jr. and sent first he sent it to all our classmates, and then he sent a copy, I guess, to others in the media about COVID-19 and comorbidities. And finally, it looks like somebody in the government is paying some attention to what's going on here, stuff that we've been harping on for literally months. This is not a pandemic of the unvaccinated. This is a pandemic of the comorbidities.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I've been working on this, putting the research together over the last few months. I was waiting for getting information from the public health, albeit it was piecemeal, but I was able to get some. Still waiting for more information.
Well, they sent out a report. There was a report that came out last week that I got a copy of from the epidemiologist, and I got a copy of it from Chanel, and it is current within about the last couple of weeks, and it outlines the different things that people are dying with. It also outlines, whether they were, serious underlying conditions, or were they just there along with something else. So it's a little bit difficult and needs some explanation as I was reading through it, but it was very, very clear that people are dying with these comorbidities. Virtually every single one of them are preventable.
Yes, and that's what was, that's what perked my interest in this whole thing. As you read through the daily JIC reports, and unfortunately there was a point in time where it was almost daily, of individuals who were succumbing to the virus. It always had that verbiage. This individual had an underlying health condition, and so it was okay. What is that underlying health condition? What do they mean by that? And so, of course, in having conversations with them, I don't want to say that it was as a result of my conversations that they started to come up with that new piece of information from public health about the comorbidities. But I wanted to learn even a little bit more about. Okay, so now that we've identified them and we continue to identify them from the get-go, what have we been doing about it? These individuals, would they have died had they not had the comorbidities? Or as a result of these underlying health conditions, did it make it worse for them that they were going to succumb to it? Those are still unanswered questions. That said, though, is that I've always, I felt that, and I feel that there should be more effort, in being able to identify. Look, if you've got this underlying health condition, if you've got diabetes, hypertension, chronic kidney disease, chronic heart disease, Follow your doctor's orders. Go see your doctor. Do the things necessary so that you can control it or eliminate it, so that if you do catch this virus, and chances are you probably will because it's just going all over the place, whether you're vaccinated or not, and if you reduce your underlying health condition, your propensity or your chances of being able just for it to be a common cold as something severe like pneumonia or even death, that could change. That could mean the difference. And so I'd like to be able to concentrate on that too as well, because I think one of the things that we have to face is this variant, this virus is not going to go anywhere for quite some time. We may, this is going to be like the other coronaviruses that that we've had to deal with in the past. It's going to be with us. Now it's going to have to. Now, how do we contain this? How do we contain this amongst ourselves? Address those health issues that would make it difficult, whether or not you have the coronavirus or you have the common flu. Because that's the other thing. How many people have died as a result of the common flu from these
with the comorbidities? Well, it's okay. So it's become now obvious in today's Guam Daily News or PDN. There was an editorial from Ping Yuan Ed Liu, who is drawing exactly the same conclusions, although not necessarily looking solely at Guam numbers. We were asking these questions as well. Singapore, right up until a couple of weeks ago, had incredible numbers. They were virtually, less than 24 people were testing positive on a daily basis. Now they're up around 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 people are testing positive. But the fatality rates for someplace like Singapore, huge population there, they've got fewer fatalities than we've got here on Guam, with a significantly smaller part of the population. So what's the distinction? What is the difference? And I think the difference is going to end up being, what are the underlying conditions that the majority of positive testers are seeing here on Guam, and what are the underlying conditions in Singapore, where arguably there might not be as many people that are suffering from diseases, heart diseases, respiratory issues, and diabetes as we've got here. So, throw that into that bundle of research that you're talking about, and it makes very, very clear to me one of the solutions that we have right in front of us, and that is to angle for a healthier population. I mean, we're not going to be able to make people younger, but we could actually, for some people, turn them around. I mean, you got diabetes issues. Let's get the sugars under control. Let's get some exercise going. Let's talk to Ken and Dave Sablon about keto. Do what you and Chris Duenas were doing for a while. Get on a bike and ride around Teetson for a little bit. Get some exercise. Get something going here. And the government of Guam, I think, needs to do a better job of encouraging that kind of thing. Guys over at the Daily Post have clearly heard me talking about, why don't we have a functioning Agana swimming pool? Why? Something as obvious as that. We could take the governor's sitting on $550 million somewhere. Can we take a couple of $1 million and give it to find Clayton Duvall? He knows how to work swimming pools. Go and have him work with Ed Cheng, and between the two of them, they'll be the receivers of the Agana swimming pool. Let them take care of it and get it running. And then we get kids that are exercising regularly. We've got senior citizens out there doing low impact water aerobics. We got people out there doing their swimming and back and forth for for some people that's their cardio, right? Not enough attention being paid on that, Senator.
Yeah, and then you've got the mayors who are clamoring because they've been expecting it. They were told to expect some ARP funding so that they can make some improvements to the facilities they have in their villages, and they haven't got them yet. So, there is the money there to be able to make those improvements? Yes. Are there efforts, or are there ways to be able to reduce comorbidities by daily exercise, change eating habits and whatnot? Yes, there is. Is there an effort to be able to do any of this thing? No, there isn't. But so I'm hoping that we can start to do something about it. Again, it's.
They can't force people to go for a walk in Tumon if they don't want to go for a walk in Tumon. But understand that they need to consider themselves part of the solution. If they've gotten vaccinated, great, you've gotten vaccinated, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not going to die from COVID-19. Your underlying circumstances, your underlying conditions could push you over the edge. It's you only need, in some cases, to be a little bit sicker before you start circling that drain.
You know, in the case of you know, the deaths that occurred yesterday, the two gentlemen, one was fully vaccinated, the other one's partially vaccinated. They both had underlying conditions, and they unfortunately they both passed on. So it's not a matter of being vaccinated or unvaccinated. It's what it seems comes down to is the underlying health conditions is that high blood sugar, you know, that high blood pressure, you know, that you know, I'd say is, I'm talking to you, too much beer.
I don't know what you're talking about. I drink healthy beer. Beer, I'm drinking 2.5 grams of maybe just a little bit more of that. It's just a couple of grams of carbs, and so I'm drinking Michelob Ultra to help control to control my carb intake these days. Of course, I had some red rice with my Jamaican grill yesterday, but there's nothing unhealthy about a little bit of red rice with your ribs.
And there's nothing wrong with any of that, so long as you can balance it off, and I'm sure you do balance it off.
I do. I got the fork in one hand and beer in the other. It totally equals each other out. I'm closing in on the top of the hour. I want to continue the conversation because now you have exactly the kind of information and the research and the citations that you've got in your little term paper here to help make decisions help people make decisions. But the question is, what's next? What are we going to do now that Frank Blas has this information or has reached these conclusions, and what does that say about the governor's and in fact even Biden's current means of controlling COVID-19, which isn't working clearly, and that is segregation of the population by vaccinated and unvaccinated status. So can you do me a favor? Give me a ring back on the other side of Mana with news next hour.
Got it. You got it.
You the man. Frank Blas Jr. On the point here. Right now we jump into Fox News on the point.
Petito's boyfriend, Brian Laundrie, is a person of interest in her death. He's been charged with unauthorized use of her debit card. He's been missing for weeks, with federal authorities continuing to search a nature preserve near his parents' home in Northport, Florida. The House of Representatives is expected to vote this evening on a short-term measure to raise the debt ceiling. The Senate approved the measure last week. A brief court appearance this morning for a Maryland couple accused of trying to sell secrets to a foreign government.
The two accused spies, Jonathan and Diana Tebe, appeared separately in a West Virginia courtroom, both shackled and in orange prison jumpsuits. They both sat alone without legal representation, according to Fox's Jake Gibson, who was in the courtroom. The judge ordered that both receive public defenders. Jonathan, the Navy nuclear engineer, stood before the judge for 5 minutes at 11 a.m., and then his wife, Diana, a school teacher in Annapolis, Maryland, stood for 5 minutes at 11:10.
Fox's Jennifer Griffin at the Pentagon. In the first of its kind decision, the FDA has authorized the first e-cigarettes in the U.S., saying the vaping products from tobacco company R.J. Reynolds can benefit adult smokers. The decision only applies to one device, and it's tobacco-flavored cartridges. The FDA says it rejected 10 other requests from the company for other flavored products. Wall Street stocks edged lower ahead of earnings season. The Dow minus 117, the NASDAQ off 20. America is listening to Fox News.
When making the new Kentucky Fried Chicken sandwich, people asked how I felt about burger places selling fried chicken. I'd say that's none of my business, just like making fried chicken is none of theirs. The new Kentucky Fried Chicken sandwich with mayo, pickles, and a quarter-pound filet as far as the eye can see. Get comfy, it's gonna be a while.
The new Kentucky Fried Chicken Sandwich is back for good, along with the new all-white meat KFC chicken sandwiches, Zinger, Super Deluxe, and Grilled Doublicious. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
Family Finance has been serving the people of Guam since 1959, and they'll continue to be there for you in the years to come. Whether you're looking to get a personal loan for that summer staycation or paying off those long overdue bills, Family Finance has got you covered. Apply for a personal loan from $1,000 up to $3,900 by calling Family Finance. Agana, 475-4545, Upper Tumon at 647-5626, or in Dededo at 633-4473. Family Finance, serving the people of Guam since 1959.
Britain's Prime Minister is accused of making major errors in the early days of the pandemic.
A bipartisan report from lawmakers here in London says Britain's government waited too long before locking the country down as the coronavirus spread last year. The report calls the delay one of the worst health failures in UK history.
We took decisions based on the science.
Cabinet Minister Stephen Barclay defended the government's approach.
With something so unprecedented as the pandemic, there will be lessons to learn.
Britain is to hold a public inquiry into the outbreak next year. In London, Simon Owen, Fox News.
Predictions of a Labor Day return to the office were a bust, but the numbers are hitting a high.
It's still a trickle, but workers returning to the office have hit their highest rates since the pandemic began. As of last week, an average of about 36% of the workforce was back in 10 major cities, monitored by security firm Castle Systems, which tracks access card swipes. This compared to around Labor Day, when roughly 31% of the workforce went back to traditional office space. According to the Wall Street Journal article, it climbed to 35% by the end of September. Experts feel the trend is likely to continue, with more companies, including Whirlpool and BlackRock, indicating they'll be welcoming office workers back this month and next. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
A customs dispute at the U.S.-Canada border is threatening America's supply of a key fish used for fish sticks and fast food sandwiches. After being caught, the Alaska pollock is transported by ship to New Brunswick, Canada, near the border with Maine. Then it crosses into the U.S. on trucks. The U.S. Customs and Border Agency claims shippers are violating what's known as the Jones Act, which requires that goods shipped between U.S. ports be transported on U.S.-owned ships. The dispute has left 26 million pounds of fish in cold storage in Canada. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
There's a steak with your name on it at the new Longhorn Steakhouse. Flo's Filet is an exceptionally tender center cut. The New York Strip is a steakhouse classic, and Longhorn's famous outlaw ribeye is well marbled and fire grilled. Longhorn is ready and waiting to pour you a margarita and make you a steak. Longhorn Steakhouse is open daily from 11 to 10 p.m.
JV International Safety Equipment has it all for you. Fall protection, rain gear, traffic signs, speed bumps, custom signs and banners, PPEs, fire extinguishers, plus more. Check them out on Facebook at JV International Safety Equipment Company or visit their website, www.jvisec.com. JV International Safety Equipment, Guam's leader in occupational and environmental safety equipment. Call 688-9524. JV International Safety Equipment, located in Harmon Industrial Park.
Over the past 5 years, confidential data and network breaches have doubled for small and large businesses, resulting in huge financial loss. At GTA, our multi-threat security bundle is a cost-effective solution monitored by our team of experts, ready to detect known malware and stop new evolving cyber threats before entering your network.
Protect your business with confidence and call 671-644-1000 or visit gta.net/enterprise. GTA, we start with you.
Your local news is brought to you by Nambo Insurance. Skip the line, pay online. It's fast, it's easy, and it's secure. Visit nambo.com for more information.
Today it's 8:06. I'm Montesova Tyron with a look at your local news on the point. The number of COVID-related deaths continue to rise, with the number of positive cases also going up to near 200. The Joint Information Center reporting today that 3 deaths were of 3 women who were in their 70s. All of them had underlying health conditions. None of them were vaccinated. Meanwhile, the JIC report this morning also has 185 new cases out of 1,400 people who were tested on October 11th. To date, there have been a total of 16,461 officially reported cases, and 56 people remain in the hospital, with 10 of them in intensive care. The CAR score this morning is at 24.7. Meanwhile, the government still moving toward consolidating the government's quarantine and isolation facilities. Currently, there are 2 being used, but officials are looking at combining the 2 under one roof. The General Services Agency posted an RFB in September looking for a minimum hotel capacity of 100 total rooms, with the ability to increase or decrease the 100 rooms, with a guaranteed use of 30 for quarantine and a guarantee for 20 rooms to be used for isolation, with the remaining rooms to be used as necessary. The bid's supposed to be opened on October 8th. Currently, the government is using the Dusit and the Bayview hotels. Contracts for both of those facilities, however, were to expire on September 30th. GSA has not issued an update on where they are at issuing that contract. Well, more news right after this.
It's back on. Mark it down. October 30th, Michelob Ultra presents the GSPN Imas Met Good competition. Guam's strongest man and woman will be determined at the Paseo ground. Come, watch our island's strongest compete in the Triple J truck pull, the Paradise Fitness log lift, CTD and Pacific tire flip, the ITNE wheelbarrow course, Guam Army National Guard warrior walk, and the Isla Imports mini truck lift. There'll be a beer garden and food truck, so leave your chow and drinks at home. They're not allowed at this free event. Who will be Guam's strongest man and woman? Find out Saturday, October 30th.
23-year-old Nicholas Moore has pleaded not guilty to charges of sexual assault on a minor. Moore is charged with 2 counts of third-degree criminal sexual conduct after he allegedly had sexual relations with a minor who was under 16 at the time. The alleged incidents to have taken place around December of 2016 and January of 2017. He remains out on $20,000 bail in this case, but is also under house arrest after he was charged with murder in the death of Michael Castro. Visitor arrivals on Guam at an all-time low, with GVB looking at a meager 60,343 visitors in fiscal year 2021, most of them military. And while the agency works to rebuild the visitor industry, they are looking at new incentives to get people here. Incentives might soon be to military family members to come and visit service members who are stationed on Guam. The Guam Daily Post reports that GVB might start considering airline and hotel discounts to these military families. The GVB went before the legislature yesterday for an update on some of their plans. Updates also on their successful Airbnb program, which has attracted thousands of visitors from Asia and around the world to get vaccinated on Guam. GVB's president, Carl Gutierrez, says, though, that if the Biden administration moves ahead with its plan to ban unvaccinated foreign travelers from entering the U.S., it could be detrimental to that Airbnb program on Guam. And those are your top stories here on The Point. Here's Ray with your weather.
Now I was taking a quiz on this app.
What kind of potato are you?
No, wait, yeah, what kind of if you were a potato, what kind of potato? What single change would improve your life right now? And there's four different options. Option 1, more energy, more productivity, more mindfulness, or more sleep. We're morning people. There's a part of me that wants to put more sleep, but I don't know. I don't know if I can sleep anymore. I mean, if I go to sleep at 8 o'clock at night, I wake up at I toss and turn starting about 2 or 3 in the morning. So I don't know if I can sleep anymore.
Maybe more mindfulness. So when you go to your office, you'll know what you're going for.
But what does that mean? And some people, they're like, mindfulness means you're always talking about the politically correct issues, and you have to be kind of the environment, or you got to be thinking about sustainability.
No, I think mindfulness is more present in experiencing more of what's happening around you, as opposed to being stuck on your phone and distracted by
Right. Well, in fact, it talks about some of the distractors like social media and things like that. I don't know. I feel like I think maybe I'm just going to go with more productivity, and because some of the partners might be listening, going, yeah, that's what we could use, Gibson, more productivity at the radio station. How about that? 8:11 in the morning. Is that Frank back on the line?
It is.
All right, we'll jump into him in just a second. I do want to give you the weather for today. With the heat index, it'll feel like 94. I'm looking at the My Radar that Landon Adlet recommended for my phone, and I tell you what, I love it. The Pro version's it's $10 more, and that covers you for the entire year. And you're going to want to use it because it'll show you all kinds of radar, high definition radar, which is very, very cool. And then the tools that you need to be able to glance through the week and see where the great days are. Right now, it's looking pretty good. The weather's going to be nice today. Partly cloudy, isolated showers and thunderstorms are possible. Winds east, and then they're going to shift to the south later on. Daytime highs 88 degrees again with the heat index 94 through Thursday night. Partly cloudy skies, isolated the showers and thunderstorms. And a little bit more of the weather is going to creep back in maybe by the weekend, according to the way the forecasts are looking right now. But it's only Wednesday. Give it some time, right? Check it out. Sunset tonight is going to be at 6:03. Sunrise tomorrow morning should be about 6:11. 8:12 in the morning. The Ray Gibson Show continues with Frank Bloss Jr. in a moment.
Hafude, konnichiwa,
Patois, ciao. Enter for a chance to win the 76 Circle K World Cuisine Giveaway. Be one of 3 lucky winners to win a passport of free food from around the world at over 15 different local restaurants. Just stop by any 76 Circle K, purchase $35 or more in fuel to get an entry form. Drive by today and taste the world with 76 Circle K's World Cuisine Giveaway. Visit 76circlekguam.com for more details. Some conditions apply. Circle K, take it easy.
Go green, go solar, and save big with Nambo Insurance. When you power up your home with solar panels, Nambo Insurance will pay up to $350 toward your power bill. With Nambo, you can enjoy great savings while going green and helping to save Guam's environment. At Nambo, it pays to go green. Terms and conditions apply. Visit Nambo.com or call 477-9754 for details. Nambo Insurance, proudly serving Guam for over 50 years.
The Ray Gibson Show, brought to you by APL, American President Lines. A global presence with a local home, also being brought to you by the guys over at Chili's Grill and Bar. I know you're tempted to say Chili's Bar and Grill. No. They're like me. They like to flip the script every once in a while. So check them out today. The Chili's 2 for Dining is back, a full-on meal deal for you and a friend. We'll start with a couple of Coca-Cola drinks from the Coca-Cola family, if you know what I mean. Appetizers that you get to share, and a couple of great mouth-watering entrees. I'd love to give you the whole menu, but if I can just start with baby back ribs, I think we're done here, right? The conversation is over. We're just going to eat a lot of ribs here. But you can also get steak and shrimp or the incredible personal fajitas. It comes out. It announces itself. It comes out of the kitchen sizzling, so you know your order's on the way. Get that for dine out as well. 648-7377 at Chili's Grill and Bar.
The Ray Gibson Show, bringing you closer to the action. This is The Point, Guam's FM News Talk Superstation.
It's 8:14. Senator Frank Bloss and I graduated together at the Father Duenas class of 1980. We both were educated at the hands of a guy named Brother Tom, who taught us physics. And chemistry, and it was mostly physics, right? It was like the high-end science class, and this guy, he forced us into learning how to do research and things like that. So when Frank Bloss says he's done research on COVID-19, going to the CDC, National Institute of Health, WHO, et cetera, talking about the comorbidities that people are dying with COVID-19, it brings us to a point here where we've got to question the sensibility of some of the actions that we are taking now when it comes to our response on COVID-19, and I think that's where we need to go. Now that you are armed with I think an adequate amount of research, including information that comes from our own epidemiologist here on Guam, as a senator in the 36th Guam legislature, Darryl, what do you intend to do with this other than just tell me?
Other than, first off, this has been in the works for again, a couple of months. As a matter of fact, tonight I jump on a Zoom call with a sizable group of individuals who I've spoken to on this concern, and they were, just as interested and concerned as I was, and they've actually are going to take the steps amongst the group to be able to get themselves healthier, so that if they do contract, the virus, that it's not as severe had they, had they had the underlying conditions, or and they succumb to it, or get real sick with it because of their high blood sugar or their high blood pressure. So I'm going to be on with them tonight to talk about this a little bit more.
Well, can I? I'd like to go, but it seems to me that many of the places where I'd like to go and take care of myself and get involved in fitness and getting myself a little bit better under control. And I'm not shy about talking about this. I've got the COVID-19, and that is 19 additional pounds more than I should be carrying these days because the changes in my movement, as it were, in COVID-19. I can't go to the gym because I'm not vaccinated. I can't go to Claire Calvo's place because I'm not vaccinated. We can't even hang out at the beach according to some of the rules and regulations. Some of these groups, these ad hoc groups, they get together and will exercise over at EPAL Beach or the Archbishop Circle. My understanding is that you can't join them unless you're vaccinated as well. So it seems to me that even before the conversation gets started, we've got to deal with the idea that people are, I think, unnecessarily segregated by vaccine status.
And you're right. I went to a golf course the other, a couple weekends ago, and I walked up and they said, "Sir, are you vaccinated?" And I said, "Well, it looks like I'm not playing today." So, anyways, okay. But going back to this group has actually said, okay, look, yeah, because of all these mandates, it's not going to stop us. So let's start with the Zoom meeting, and they can work it from there. You know, in the meantime, you're right. I think that the next step in this thing is as was even stated by Dr. Nguyen, you know, a couple of weeks ago too. That look, we want to encourage people to exercise. We want to encourage people to get some sun.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some fresh air, open up their lungs, you know, move around, so that it doesn't, you know, you can reduce those illnesses, you can reduce those maladies that would make you sick or have you gotten the virus. So, you know, you're right. There is this movement that look, we're going to have to accept that, you know, this virus is going to be around for quite some time, and we just can't continue to sit in our homes or to be restricted in our homes and not move around, you know, and you know, play tennis, play golf, play volleyball, play basketball, you know, ride bikes, you know, run, you know, so that we can get healthier, so that if we do get this virus, that we won't get we won't get as sick as we would have been had we continued to have our maladies.
Yeah, because it looks like that's the key, isn't it? It sure looks like, you know, and obviously there's one where you live a long life. Unfortunately, you're a target, made worse, though, if you've got these comorbidities. One of the things, have we opened up our senior centers yet?
I don't think we have yet.
So what are we doing by way of opening that up and getting the seniors into some of these low stress, low impact exercise programs?
No, and there continues to be that discussion. I think that one of the things that we're finding all of a sudden now is there, you know, a lot of agencies are coming to the legislature and saying, we're short on our budget. Yeah, you're short on your budget because according to what the governor stated is that she was going to be able to assist in being able to fill those gaps with some of the money that she's received from the federal government that she says we have no authority to be able to appropriate. So,
are you talking, when you said we, are you referring to her or the legislature?
I'm talking about the legislature.
Oh, the legislature. Forget the legislature. I mean, that's all her dough. That's you know,
but in the meantime,
that's in her cookie jar.
We got mayors who would like to be able to make the improvements on facilities they have in their villages, you know, so that people can take advantage of utilizing these facilities to get healthier. We've got businesses who are still shuttered. You know, and they're really trying to get through the next day, so that when our tourists do come, that there is something for them to go to. We've got people. We've got over 10,000 individuals, if not more, who are still jobless. Who's they don't have a place to work or anything. They'd like for their businesses to go back to work to be able to earn a living. There are many things that could still be happening. Okay, and then you have now being able to address the comorbidities or the underlying health conditions that seem to be very, very, very common in a lot of the deaths occurring as a result of you know, COVID. And if we can reduce that, we can hopefully and possibly reduce the mortality rate that we have for this virus in our community.
Well, you got to get certain people to pay attention to this. Did you send a copy of this to everybody in the Physicians Advisory Group? Just in case, I'm sure that many of them, you know, last name, you know, with MD at the end of their name, may actually be looking at some of the same data as you are. Just send a copy of this up to the governor's office so that she could take a look at it and get that oh, I know moment where she says, oh, it's the underlying conditions that we should address.
Yeah, well, my distribution was far and wide, and I even encourage. Look, send it to as many people as you can. Let's start a conversation. You know, if Frank Boss is wrong about this, let's talk about it.
Well, he couldn't be any worse. He couldn't do any worse. I mean, we've already got significant numbers. There are more people that have died. You know, if you take a look at that editorial I was telling you about, there are more people that have died in September of this year than there were in September of last year. And here's a big difference: we didn't have a vaccine in September of last year. So people are vaccinated, and we you know, forcing everybody and browbeating and bullying everybody to get vaccinated. But it still doesn't seem to make any difference with this Delta variant that we've got that for some reason is far more deadly. And I think it's because it's spreading faster among the vaccinated who are walking around thinking that they can't give people COVID.
You know, one of the pieces of information that I'm waiting for from public health now is, okay, of all the individuals that have been tested and have tested positive, can I have a breakdown of those individuals that tested positive and were vaccinated versus unvaccinated?
I've asked. I haven't got a copy of it, but maybe you could FOIA that from those guys over there.
And you know, it's not like they can't extract it. If you look at the form that is required to be filled out before you get tested, they ask you the simple question: have you been vaccinated with what? Pfizer, Moderna, or J&J, you know, or other. So it's there.
But again, it doesn't do us any good. And everything that you are saying, or all the questions that you are asking, I mean, Lee Weber and I having a conversation on the side here. These are some of the things that he's brought up in his column in recent past. It sounds like every conversation I've had with George, what's his name, Dr. Golly, why am I forgetting his name all of a sudden? You know which one I'm talking about. Not McNish, Macris. Every conversation I've had with Macris and others, and even all of my other friends in the medical community that dare not go against the existing narrative. This is all out there. It's known information, but it seems to be one of those. It doesn't matter what you and I can see with our own eyes. There is a willing suspension of disbelief at Adelup and among some of the people that are guiding our response to COVID-19 here on Guam. You and I can go, what about all day long, but it ain't cutting through any of the noise over at Adelup. That's our problem.
You know, Ray, you're absolutely right. You know, because if Frank Bloss can make this observation and notice it, I'm not the only one that went to Brother Tom's class and knows how to do research. I'm sure there are many in the medical field and profession that can be able to do this. Why hasn't this been brought up and talked about more?
Okay, now we get into the conspiracy theories. Now we get on top of, we don't want, Adelup isn't wanting anybody to get in front of how they are going to spend, how they're going to deal out to their favorites $550 million. And nobody wants to get into the conversation about hotel rooms and sole source procurement and all of the other, unabated power that comes with being the governor in a public health emergency that will never, ever end, Frank.
Yeah, well, I tell you, it's interesting. One of the conversations I got back, or one of the feedback I got last night, after I distributed this one, a person came back to me and says, that they're not going to pay attention because it's coming from you, right?
I feel the same way. Many times. God awful butt ugly chain link fence. I think everybody on Guam agrees it's an eyesore. It's a nuisance. And I think it's quickly becoming a hazard for people that are trying to navigate up and down Marine Corps Drive. But they ain't going to take it down when we're married to something that we've already decided that we're going to live with. They're never going to take it down, least of all if the loudmouth howling on the radio keeps saying so. So that's I think, where we are. 8:26 in the morning. I'll remind you again that members of the legislature have in a resolution that was authored by a former senator, all of the paperwork they need to end this public health emergency, to end all of these questions and restore, hopefully, some common sense in the thinking of the government of Guam, but at least some credibility in the government of Guam. We're not even hearing anything about this from anybody outside of you.
Yeah. Well, Ray, it's not like I'm going to continue to.
I have people in the physicians advisory group that insist on wearing a mask in front of me, even though they know it doesn't work, because they have to carry the narrative along with them.
Just keep saying, huh? I can't hear you.
I don't understand what you're saying. Take off the mask. So I don't know. I don't know. You're in a place here, and I'll remind you again, because we've been here before. Click your heels 3 times together, Frank. You could have gone home anytime. You and 9 more people over at the legislature.
Yes, I know. We could have.
Oh, not even 9. Not even 9. 7. No, you only need just a simple majority. That's 8.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, Ray, and I think you have no fuss from me, or you have, it's convincing. I would say I think we just need to convince maybe about 2 more.
Which 2 do you want? Is it Tello and who else? Tello and who else?
No, so I think all we need is 2 more.
Come on, dear. Come on, Daryl, you can see it's all right. I just,
Okay,
we've got an incredible amount of evidence and conversation that is in front of us. You're giving people hope. I did get a note from a buddy of mine that says, "Here's what we need to do," and maybe this is something that you can work on. I'd like to see a skate park in Agania. And I know that there is a group that is going for such a thing. I mean, that's a great opportunity. And then Cause Endo wants you to help them build a Conquer obstacle course. And I'll give you Cause's contact information so you can get a hold of him. I do have a caller who wants to conference with you. If you don't mind, I got Bob Kelly wants in on the conversation. Buenos, Bob. Welcome to the program.
Thank you. Well, you're talking about research, and there's something that I've wanted information on for the last 6 months or so, and it's not being given by public health yet, and maybe Frank can help get us the information. I would like to know which vaccines have how many breakthroughs. In other words, we're getting positives for people who are vaccinated. That's all they say. Is it the Moderna? Is it the Pfizer? Is it the JJ? Secondly, if they could even go one step down, drilling more, which batches? Because if sub-batches of one of the vaccines maybe was sent here ineffective or was mishandled and causing the breakthroughs, I know what vaccines I got because it's on my little white card. And if I have if I have a vaccination and they come back and say, this is where a third or half of the breakthroughs have come from and it's my vaccine, that's going to give me pause to, hey, I need to do something fairly quickly on it. Where if there are vaccines that are having very low breakthroughs, that's good information. And that's not being given. And if you could get that information, I don't think I'm the only person in Guam who would like to know the effectiveness of their vaccine and dose.
No.
Let me hold on, Frank. Let me grab that. Okay. Now I'm not going to say directly, but indirectly, I have heard it is the same vaccine. Where there was recently an article, I think it was in one of the newspapers, that talked about the efficacy of this vaccine going from about 88, 90% down to 44% within about 6 months. And that would be the one that starts with a capital P. I've not heard the same thing about Moderna. I have not heard the same thing about Janssen. Janssen seems to be the one that manages to keep its flavor overnight, if you know what I'm talking about. And then with regard to batches, I know of at least one other guy in the media business that's candid, and he had sent something like a FOIA or made a request for exactly that information. And one of the responses was it's possible that they might be looking at a bad batch. Now, these are just off-the-record kind of conversations that I've been having among members of the medical community and Cousin Troy. Your mileage may vary.
Do you think the reason they don't want to release it is because there are a couple of spots there concerned and they don't want it to go out to the public? I mean, I don't think they would want to hide things at public health.
I don't know. They're pretty good with my FOIAs, but I'm sure they'd be even faster if Frank sent one.
Okay. Thank you for letting me come back into this conversation.
Well, no, I just, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to jump in, but I did have some information that I thought might be handy in case you didn't have it.
No, and Bob brings up some, a good point, good concern here. Is it comes back to the communications and the transparency. You've got one mandate after another, you've got one rule after another, and you've got all these things that. It seems like we're being herded into certain areas, and then we're not told what for, or or what of, what are the results? And there are those concerns, and I think that those need to be answered as well. And, first off, it's not like they don't have the information. You look at all the forms that have to be filled out before you either take a test or get vaccinated, and there's a number of boxes that have to be checked and collected so that later on somebody can extract this information. And it seems like that's kind of some of the information that Bob is looking for that can be extracted from those forms.
If somebody just took a look.
Very, very quickly, if you fly into the airport, they can go online and determine which shots you had, when, and what the particular batch is. They have that information because that's how they also, if you go down to public health and need to get a form, it's all on the computer, And so why, when somebody tests positive has been vaccinated, they don't take that 30-second check and find out which vaccine, or they probably do, but they're not releasing it. Do that 30-second check, find out when they were vaccinated, what they were vaccinated, and keep that statistic and give to the public. This is how many people tested positive with this vaccine and this batch, this vaccine and batch. If they would make that table available, it would be very helpful for people to know where they stand with the vaccines they've taken.
Good points there. Well, I'm going to ask Frank to take care of that information because, like I said, you just get regular morning mouth here on the radio. Maybe they'll go slow on that. But Senator from the 36th Guam legislature says, I'd like to see some of this data. I know it's available. Can you get it to me? And it's not like we got to go over 2 years of tests. We only need to take a look at the tests that have become available since the vaccines were out there. 8:33 in the morning. Frank, you got anything else?
That's it, buddy. Thank you.
That was it? Okay. All right. Any thoughts on?
I mean, of course, there are other things that I'm working on. But that's going to take up another half hour.
That's all right. Just real quick, your thoughts on the testimony provided by Carl Gutierrez, Jerry Perez, Sam Shinhara, and others over at the legislature yesterday, the informational hearing. Were you able to attend?
Yes, I was able to attend. And as a matter of fact, we were able to make some quick jokes about how fast it would have been had we Donald Trump been president. Anyways, again, it goes back to we got to do some of the things necessary to be able to help that part of our economy. That industry that makes up the bulk of our economy. Because when they say, okay, now we're open up, we can open to tourists. Can we say that? Are we ready? Not just from a standpoint of the community health concerns, but as a community, as a whole, and as an infrastructure. So I think that was a very good conversations that were had about what they're doing and what would be necessary to be able to get them back on track. You got to remember, Guam is not the only tourist destination in this side of the Pacific. And so we're going to be competing with a lot of, other areas that really, at face value and right now have got more to offer than we do here in Guam. But so we've got to be able to first off, improve our product, improve our image, and get ready, because then we want to be able to compete and bring them back in, because we need to.
No disagreement there, Frank. 8:35 in the morning, and a note here, Lee Stolley writing, night and day difference between here and Europe. Tourists everywhere over there in Europe, and we're hearing, we got Facebook. I got all kinds of friends that are traveling around the nation in free spots and not so free spots that are talking about the night and day difference of being able to travel and go places in the States and maybe not worrying about masks or not worrying about somebody crawling up your doggin trying to find out whether you're vaccinated or not. Okay, I said doggin on the radio. I got to let you go.
Okay, but
yes, amigo. Bob, I'll talk to you as well. Frank Blas Jr. from the 36th Guam legislature with a little bit of help and curiosity. The door of curiosity, as they refer to it in Stranger Things, has been opened. Of all of the people that have tested positive for COVID-19 since the vaccine has been available, how many of them were vaccinated? Number one. Number two, are there more breakthrough cases for Pfizer or Moderna or Janssen? We'd like to know what the breakdown is of the breakthroughs. If you get vaccinated, how many of you are likely to break through if you got the Pfizer or the Moderna or the Janssen? And like I said, my understanding is that they're seeing a whole lot of breakthroughs on the Pfizer. That's my understanding. It is based on more conversation. We haven't actually been able to get the numbers. And when some of the numbers were discussed, they said, well, it might have been a bad batch. Oh, really? Bad batch? You'd think you'd go out and say if there was a bad batch floating around. If we're starting to see a lot of people with breakthroughs that are coming out of the same bottle or the same bunch of bottles for when, and all of that should have been tracked very, very carefully. 8:36 in the morning. In fact, Mana, you got the vaccine, right? You know what lot number, batch number, whatever your
absolutely
your paper your
I had it tattooed on me.
That did you?
Just in case they would ask.
These are important things. Real Joe, what about you? You know which batch number, what label, what factory?
Good color.
What shift?
Color good.
Color good. At 8:37. Mana's got that last look at big news and headlines. It's coming up after these.
Great news, Guam! Chili's 2 for Dining is back. Enjoy a full-on meal deal made for 2 for just $35. Start with 2 Coca-Cola beverages, an appetizer to share, and 2 mouth-watering entrees like the sizzling personal fajitas, the mouth-watering honey chipotle steak and shrimp, or Chili's world-famous fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Available for a limited time. Dine in today or call 648-7377 to place to-go orders. Chili's is located on the 2nd floor of Tumon Sands Plaza. Chili's. Savor the moment.
Contact Express Financial for all your financial needs. Express Financial is consumer lending at its very best. They also have a host of dealer service programs with quick approvals. There are 3 ways to apply. Over the phone at 637-9834. You may visit their office in person at 600 Harmon Loop Road across the street from Costules. Or you can also visit their webpage and apply at myexpressfinancial.com. In most cases, you'll get your money the same day.
Guam Auto Spot has the best selection in Buick, GMC, Mitsubishi, and used cars like the 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage starting at $127 per paycheck, 0 down. Call 671-478-AUTO to take a test drive or get pre-approved online at guamautospot.com.
8:38. Couple of notes here. Got invited to a thing in Mogfog. I don't even know how to get to Mogfog.
Fuck.
How do you get there?
You got to go through, somewhere down there, Macheche. It's near Lemonchina.
They sent me a pin.
Lemonchina.
And there's no routed roads anywhere near where this pin is. It's like back in the old days. I've been to Mogfog once in my life on purpose. And I must have been 8 or 9 years old. 10. Maybe I was 10 years old. And me and Mana's dad were out motorbiking one day. And he heard there were some pretty good trails there. So we went to Mogfog and drove around in there long enough to get lost. Finally found our way back to Marine Corps Drive and then just went up to Nimitz like everybody else does and got stuck in red dirt. 20 away from 9 o'clock in the morning. A couple of things if you're looking for something to celebrate. It is Emergency Nurses Day.
Wow.
Hello. Scrubs, Bullying Prevention Day. And this one here, it's Take Your Parents to Lunch Day. And,
Wow.
And it got me thinking about my old man and I, Pop and I used to love to go to lunch. Rotary lunches, obviously, every Thursday. But every once in a while, in the middle of the week, he'd pick me up and where do you want to eat? And we just kind of look at each other and find Ivory, which is about where the new Shirley's is in that building in Agania. Ivory's and Chef Eddie. Was that's one of the places where he got his grill work was done in that spot. I'd go for the chicken cordon bleu because it was so good, and Pop and I would share a couple of plates of the bacon shrimp wrapped in bacon, which Chef Eddie I believe has perfected. Got me thinking about now places where Mom wanted to go to lunch. Now, I didn't get as much lunch time with Mom as maybe you and Shelley did.
Oh, she would go anywhere we wanted to go.
That's it? But
we
did she have a go-to place?
Aji-ichi. She liked Japanese-style restaurants and
Okay.
Korean-style.
We used to go to a bunch of fine dining restaurants at night. She loved escargot.
Mezcla.
Oh, my God, escargot. Mezcla, yes.
Mezcla. And remember, Y Cocina was her favorite restaurant back in the day. They were kind of the first Chamorro restaurant that offered that dried meat with the tenala.
Oh my God,
tenala cut meat
yeah. We all remember
tenancy.
Ecosina. That was that place down in Anigua, right? When you'd go by there,
it's where Eurojip is now.
Oh my God, you go for lunch. And the place was already crowded. And maybe it's just you or you and a friend, and you look around and there's no table for two anywhere. So she would sit you down. The old lady, she would sit you down with another table with 2 more chairs, and you might not know who these people were. And it didn't matter. It's like you're eating in my house, and I'm going to sit you two together with these guys. A lot of friendships were made that way. A lot of friendships forged in that spot. Great memories.
Miss that restaurant.
Yep, and well, we missed our folks as well. There are places where you and your dad would go and get something to eat lunchtime.
Simply Food. He liked Simply Food and his salad over at not Longhorn.
Yeah. Lone Star.
Lone Star.
Yeah. Well, the fact of the matter is your dad was a great chef to begin with.
We did a weekly lunch, me and my dad.
Mm-hmm. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
Fun memories. So take your parents to lunch day. For those of you that
Mom,
still,
you know, if you want to take her to lunch.
Who's that? Oh, you got Mom? Oh, yeah, the ashes. You know,
my dad too.
Says last will and testament means it's meaningless. It really is. But from a couple of kids here, we neither one of us have our fathers, and we lost our mom, and so it's take your parents to lunch day. If you've got a parent or parents still around, ring them up, find out what they're up to. And you know, COVID-19, they might not be able to get out as much as they used to, but virtually every restaurant that they want to eat at has probably got some kind of to-go offering. So do that. 8:42 in the morning. Mana Silvataran's got that last look at big news and headlines. Mana, what happened?
Well, the government's still moving toward consolidating their quarantine and isolation facilities. They put out an RFP back in September, and the bids were supposed to be opened on October 8th. There hasn't been an update, though, on where they're at with that process. The Dusit and the Bayview hotels have been used as the QFAC. The contract, however, expired on September 30th. Meanwhile, the number of COVID-related deaths continued to rise. 3 more reported in the JIC this morning. They were all women who were in their 70s and all had underlying health conditions, but they did point out that none of them were vaccinated. Also, there were 185 new cases of COVID-19 out of 1,400 people who were tested on October 11th. Those are your headlines right here on The Point.
Okie dokie. 8:43 in the morning, and I got a couple of things here. Pam Duvall has sent me a picture. Even though it was Clay's birthday yesterday, she wants to send me pictures of little Millie. Destroyer of Worlds.
Wow.
Yeah, and you might be looking at what it is that she's drawing there. That's the dinosaur that when she's old enough, she's going to bring back to life, and that will help her destroy the world for absolutely. Just if I get one like, I'll destroy Tokyo for no reason. There you go. That's my girl. But I'm looking at the picture. Pam, get that mask off my little girl. She's a little baby. Little baby. She didn't have any comorbidities.
That's
Come on, she's sweet. Never mind daycare, dude. So where's the no mask daycare for the Destroyer of Worlds? Come on, there's got to be somewhere out there. Yeah. I know. Pet peeve. Oh my God, when I see people walking around the beach outside with their mask on. You know, and you just want to go, come on, dude, lose the mask, please. You don't have to worry, but you're outside already. Vitamin D, look, you're healthy. There's nothing wrong with you. Why are you wearing the mask?
But why does it bother you? It's not like anybody's making you wear the mask outside.
Because it just does. It's unnecessary. You don't need to. It's completely. You don't have to. Why do you have to do that? I don't. And when people are driving in the car by themselves, and I'm going, why do you take the mask off?
Maybe their car doesn't smell good.
Well, you know, it's also worth pointing out that there are some people. I know you ask a legitimate question for which I don't really have a legitimate answer on. But there are people who like the mask. That want to wear the mask all the time, prefer that version of at least a flash of anonymity, right? You don't know when you see somebody's face whether that's really the person you want to say hi to or how you doing. And there's a lot of people that just, don't want to have the conversation, don't want to get involved, just want to zip into the store, get their crap, and then zip out. And that's why they wear the mask in the store. It's why they wear the mask in the parking lot. That's where they're wearing the mask at the beach. Hey, listen, I ain't got time for you. I'm wearing my mask. And that's my sign to the world that I want to be left alone. Right? Joe, you getting that? Or is that just what the girls say?
Alone.
I don't want to be alone. Don't talk to me. 8:45, Ray Gibson Show continues. I'll be right back.
Hafide, this is Kayla from APL Guam. Here at APL, our expertise and extensive network can help you grow your business and reach out to more markets. As a responsible carrier, APL is also committed to a sustainable future, whether it's protecting the environment or investing our efforts in giving back to the community. Our dedicated team in Guam and the U.S. mainland are here to support you. Call 588-4651 or visit apl.com.
Take it out. Take it out. I'm talking about platters. Take you and your attitude way the heck over there. That's where it belongs. No. This prelude to a spot for Olive Garden. They've got takeout platters, $50, right? This will feed an army. We got the breadsticks and house salad. Your choice, fried mozzarella, which I like, but I also like spinach artichoke dip. And if you run out of stuff to dip it, you just use your finger and just scoop that stuff out. The idea with spinach artichoke dip, by the way, is if you're eating it in the actual, the Olive Garden restaurant, your goal is so that they don't even have to wash it when it goes back to the kitchen. There should not be an atom of spinach artichoke dip left in the dipping thing, the dipping deal there that they've got. You got your platters too. We got chicken Alfredo, shrimp and bacon rigatoni. Chicken and shrimp carbonara, 5-cheese ziti al forno, chicken parmesan, and lasagna classico. That's all part of the takeout platter sensation that is Olive Garden. 989-0008. Got to do shouts to my friends around the world. Out in Philippines, got the stream cranked. Out in Tokyo, got the stream cranked. It's drive time in Tokyo. God, I don't want to go back to Tokyo. Man, I don't want to go back to Tokyo.
You can't go anywhere, Ray.
I know I can't go anywhere. I'm not vaccinated. I can't go anywhere here because I'm not vaccinated. And some people say, well, why don't you get vaccinated, dopey? And the answer is because I don't want to. I don't need to. And even more so, and this is where I've become petulant, immature. I'm about an 11-year-old here, is because I fight authority. I don't know. I don't trust any authority. There are very few things out there that I trust anymore. The institutions that I used to be fond of, educational institutions, religious institutions, and government institutions, military institutions, heck, even entertainment and sports anymore, those institutions, I no longer trust them. And I think that there are a whole lot of people who, as I said before, willingly suspended their disbelief and will believe what they are told to believe instead of what they can see with their own eyes. And that, to me, is the problem. I see things differently. And I don't know that that's, because of my preferences for media, my preferences for, where I get my information and research, or just, maybe just because it's me, is what Jerry Roberts used to refer to as the confirmation bias. I only look at things that back up what I already believe, and it's difficult for me to tolerate in these divided times anything that comes out that runs contrary, perpendicular to my beliefs. So that's where we are. So when somebody comes to me and says, well, if you'd like to enjoy all of the finer things in life, like being able to eat inside of a restaurant with a fork and a knife and napkins made of cloth and a plate that's not made of, here, how's this? A serving dish that you don't have to open. It's already open. It's a plate. It comes to you already opened up. How about that? You want to do that? Then you have to get vaccinated, to which I say, screw you and your vaccination. I can live without all of those things. And the fact of the matter, and I've told you this, it's costing me a whole lot less these days. Because I can cook most of that stuff at my house if I want to. I know where to find things that I can buy to go, and in fact, the deals are usually better to go when you think about it. Take a look at the menus that are out there these days from a lot of companies that are going. Actually, it's a little bit cheaper for us to put this together to go because I don't have to worry about bussing tables or sanitizing tables and chairs and all the different people that we've got to have in the store. Things are changing rapidly. 851, and while he is a member of the educational institution, I consider him above and beyond. Dr. Ron McNitch. Good morning, Doc. How are you?
Hey, happy day, Ray. Happy day, Guam.
And there I've done it. I've laid my soul bare before all of the men and women listening to this broadcast. Is number one, I am a 12-year-old, and number two, the idea that somebody is going to make me do something, force it. I don't know why. It just makes me want to do it even more. You know what I mean? Or not do it even more. You have to get the vaccine. Oh, now I really don't want it. Oh, you're not going to be able to go to the gym. Oh, now I really don't want it. Can't go to your favorite restaurants and bars. Oh, yeah? Go ahead. Fine. I don't need it.
Yeah, the very famous psychologist or psychiatrist Carl Jung called that the taboo effect. And that is by telling someone they cannot do something or making something forbidden, you arouse in that person a desire or a want to do exactly the contrary. Because adults don't like being told what to do, particularly if they feel it's arbitrary and not really relevant to anything. They don't like being ordered around by other adults.
Thank God there's a name for it. Yay. Can we get T-shirts? How about ball caps? I want ball caps. I want patches. I want bumper stickers. I've got the taboo effect. If you tell me I have to do something, then oh my God, ask my mom. If my mom was still alive, she'd go, no, Raymond's just not going to stand for that. I got 4 kids. Raise the one that's not going to do it.
My first year, I was eating dinner with my friend and his wife, along with my wife and their daughter, who was about 7 years old. And a guy walked by, and the young daughter said, "Daddy, who's that man in that uniform?" And her father said, as a joke, "Oh, honey, that's a Marine. Whatever you do, don't marry a Marine."
Don't tell me, let me guess.
Yeah. Yes. About 7 years ago, I went to her wedding.
And she got swatted on the butt by the last Marine in the arch of swords and said, "Welcome to the Corps."
Right. I mean, there's some really interesting things that go on with people when you tell them where their boundaries are, especially when they're adults, especially.
Yeah. Well, I'm there. And I'm sure that there's a couple of other people that I've got. Let me just quick on the birthday list. Our B guy Dennis Larson celebrating a birthday today. Rob Weinberg likewise also has a birthday, and he shows up on my friend list. Rosalind Koss, happy birthday to you and everybody else that's in the timeline here this morning. I got that from Facebook. But Dennis Larson, if you're listening, the first notice that I got that it was your birthday came from Sandra Regis, so you owe her a vote. Anyway, so 8:54. You got anything else going on?
Yeah, I was going to mention something about the masks, and I just a couple of quick little points about it. Probably 2 months ago, my daughter came up to me, and a lot of her peers at the university were also my students. So, she was in classes, and I had other students in my classes. And I was in the supermarket, and I can't tell who is who in the supermarket with masks on. And there was a young woman next to me who was my student, and I did not say hello to her or greet her. I had no idea who she was because she had on the mask. Mm-hmm. And then later my daughter calls me up and says, "Oh, so-and-so thinks that you're mad at her because you didn't talk to her in the in the supermarket." And I'm like, no, tell her, I just didn't recognize her. And here's the other dilemma is if you act like you know somebody who's wearing a mask and you don't actually know them, you come off as a creepy person.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like an entree to, just what I mean. It's like a way of not flirtation, but it's like, do I know you, or you might, what you know what I mean? I mean, it's like that kind of awkward tension, and so I'm very aware of that kind of creepiness that a person could emote by being that way.
Right. Well, I generally find that unless I'm in that mood or in a hurry or really distracted, I will generally say hello to somebody, even if I see them with a mask, and if they go, oh hi, and I get the wrong person, I'll apologize real quick. But I would rather be perceived as somewhat creepy and overreaching, as opposed to if I do see somebody but don't say hi, and then they see me and go, oh, he didn't say hi to me, what a dick, right? You know what I mean? So I will generally try to, unless there's something else going on, I'll generally try to go out of my way to acknowledge one way or the other.
Well, in this case, she made eye contact with me.
Oh God, no. No, it's you should be wearing glasses. You should be wearing the darkest, thickest glasses as possible. Otherwise, I mean, that's the tell, bro. That's the giveaway. If I was your daughter, I'd be like, Dad, how dare you? Why'd you ignore her? That's my best friend. How could you not recognize her?
Yeah, I know.
And offer to pay for her groceries.
You know, she was actually one of my favorite students too. You know, wonderful, bright student.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of, and then the other thing, and we might have talked about this months ago. A lot of the behavior driving those idiot Antifa people was their ability to wear black, and then run around totally with face cover and anonymity. And so, you know, when I grew up in the South, and the South had a very strict no mask rule to keep, you know, people like these, you know, crazy KKK people from wearing, you know, their little costumes they wear and stuff.
Right.
And they did that on purpose. And I have to say that if people are in public in these mass protests, I don't like it when they wear masks. I think that it creates what Durkheim would have said, anomie. Anomie meaning they lose their social regulation or control, and they become bad people when they have that kind of mass lack of control, and it's because they feel no one can identify them, and now with video and a lot of other technologies, they whether they know it or not, they've lost their capacity to truly be anonymous in a crowd. And then if you link that up with the ability to track people on texts and the ability to track their phones with GPS, I mean, these groups have totally lost their ability to come and go like they think they have, because they all like to videotape and film and use their smartphones, which directly creates a record of everything that they've done.
Which, back in the olden days might have been something interesting, but we would all have, I think all of us kind of look at it as kind of a regulatory thing. There's certain age groups will look at it and say, no, you don't necessarily really want to have all of that data track, all that data follow. But there does need to be a conversation in my mind about the degree of go away that this mask thing, because I don't know when that's going to happen. But there's a certain look that you see every once in a while is you get people with the glasses on and they've got the mask on and they've got the ear pods in, and I cannot think of anything that is more, I don't want to say antisocial, but non-social. That's a pretty broad, that's a pretty a big signal. I mean, and you can I'm sure you can find all kinds of different earbuds that you can get that have different colors, but you know, when you see somebody walking around with the white earbuds in and the glasses and the mask, you know, that's you just instinctively know that they don't want to make any kind of contact with you, and I think that needs to be an interesting conversation that we will have about the long-term social impacts of COVID-19. I got to break away. Fox News Live is coming up. I'll talk to you again, Doc.
Sounds great, Ray. Thank you.
It does, doesn't it? All right. Stand by. We're KUSG Agania 93.3. This is The Point.
Information released. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Weeks after her body was discovered, a Wyoming coroner with more details on the death of Gabby Petito.
Teton County Coroner Dr. Brent Blue announced how 22-year-old Gabby Petito died.
Caused death by strangulation and manner is homicide.
He says they think she was killed 3 to 4 weeks before her body was found September 19th. He explained it took a month to do the autopsy because they were waiting for specialists to help in the investigation.
It was just a matter of making sure we had everything right.
Gabby's fiance, Brian Laundrie, has been called a person of interest in her death, but he's not been found. He returned home to Florida in September after his road trip with Gabby, but his parents claim they last saw him September 13th. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The House voting now on a short-term debt limit increase. It was approved by the Senate last week. The White House has said President Biden will sign it. A new push for more transparency from the NFL after the resignation of a head coach.
The NFL Players Association Tuesday said it plans to request the NFL release the remainder of the 650,000 emails reviewed as part of the investigation into workplace misconduct within the Washington football team. Within those emails were the leaked messages that showed John Gruden using racist, misogynistic, and homophobic language, leading the Raiders coach to hand in his resignation Monday night. Meantime, Deuce Gruden will remain on the Las Vegas Raiders staff as an assistant strength and conditioning coach despite his father's resignation. The Raiders have announced that assistant coach Rich Bisaccia will take over as interim head coach. He's set to speak to the media Wednesday. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
Police in Memphis, Tennessee say 2 people and a suspect are dead after a shooting at a post office southeast of downtown. The FBI says all of the victims were postal employees. In a statement, the Postal Service said, in part, our thoughts are with the family members, friends, and co-workers of the individuals involved. America is listening to Fox News.
Need to finish the job or start one the right way? Get the right stuff at East West Rental Center. You can switch to easy mode using industrial strength equipment. With years of experience helping builders, East West Rental gives you exactly what you need. Tools for landscaping, concrete, lifts, trucks, tables, tents, chairs, water blasters, excavators, forklifts, air compressors, and more. Call East West Rental Center at 646-1463 or visit them in Upper Dumont. Open Monday to Saturday from 7 to 5, Sundays 8 to 5.
Over the past 5 years, confidential data and network breaches have doubled for small and large businesses, resulting in huge financial loss. At GTA, our multi-thread security bundle is a cost-effective solution monitored by our team of experts, ready to detect known malware and stop new evolving cyber threats before entering your network.
Protect your business with confidence and call 671-644-1000 or visit gta.net/enterprise. GTA, we start with you.
The father of a TV reporter gunned down during a live broadcast in Virginia is now asking the U.S. government to make Facebook remove the video of the killing.
Andy Parker is now asking the Federal Trade Commission to take action against Facebook, which he says still allows for the posting of the video of the televised killing of his daughter, TV reporter Allison Parker, and her photojournalist, Adam Ward. A disgruntled former co-worker approached Parker and Ward as they were reporting live from an outdoor location near Roanoke and shot them to death. It was seen not just on TV, but also in video the gunman made and later posted online himself. Parker says Facebook is violating its own terms of service. Eben Brown, Fox News.
A new poll shows a majority of Americans think drug prices are too high, with little confidence of relief from the federal government.
The poll from the Kaiser Family Foundation finds that 83% of the public favors allowing the government to negotiate lower drug prices. The poll finds that less than half of the public has confidence in congressional Democrats or President Biden to do the right thing on drug prices. The poll even worse for Republicans at only 33%. This says 1 in 5 U.S. adults age 65 and older say that it's very or somewhat difficult for them to afford their prescriptions. And amid a legislative battle over drug pricing and other issues between both moderate and progressive Democrats who control Congress. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
A lighthouse on Lake Superior will allow visitors next month for the annual memorial honoring the sailors who died in the 1975 wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. The Split Rock Lighthouse holds a beacon lighting and announces the names of the 29 men every November 10th. Last year, the remembrance was virtual. There will be a virtual option this year for those who cannot attend. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Come try Guam's original Chamorro restaurant with Pica's Best 5 years running. Mezcla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Experience Chef Peter's candied salmon over scallion coconut rice, octopus tinactac, Chamorro platter, and their award-winning gourmet hamburgers. Or if you're looking for something healthy, try their keto-friendly menu. Come and enjoy Mezcla's half-a-day service at their Hagåtña and Grand Plaza Tumon location. Call their Hagåtña location at 479-2652 for reservations.
As we get back to business, Docomo Pacific is ready to keep you connected. Introducing Business Bundles Plus. Build a customized bundle with the right internet, mobile, TV, and phone plan for your business. Pay for exactly what you need and nothing you don't. And the more services you add, the more you save. Plus, you can rely on Docomo Pacific's fastest, most reliable network and 24/7 customer support. So build your own bundle and save today with Business Bundles Plus. Call 671-688-2677. Docomo Pacific Business. Work better together.
Now open on Guam, 511 Tactical Gear Guam, offering superior tactical apparel and duty gear for law enforcement, first responders, tactical operators, and recreational enthusiasts. You'll find Guam's largest selection of 511 pants, shirts, jackets, hats, boots, watches, knives, lights, patches, and gear bags. Shop inventories online at tacticalgearguam.com. Located in Harmon, Route 16 Army Drive between Little Wangs and the Dungeon, right next to Bargain Tactical. 511 Tactical Gear Guam. Always be ready.
Duck! I'm sorry. I'm responding to something that James Howard wrote on the other. Did I say any bad words? I didn't. I said dick last hour, right?
Did you?
Sorry. Not sorry. Portions of the program brought to you by American President Lines. Global presence with a local home, also brought to you by the guys over at Nissan Guam. Now, I got a thing. They said new talking points for Ray. The new shipment of Nissan Versas, Sentras, and Kicks are here. You got an incredible deal that they're starting. You know what? The deal's already been done. You hardly have to negotiate anything when you go in. They're already saying 0 down on your good credit. APR as low as 1.99%. Number one, they've got cars. Number two, they're letting it go without having to spend a whole lot of money on the bank paperwork. Reserve yours today at NissanGuam.com. As always, on approved credit. Some conditions may apply. See your favorite sales consultant at Nissan Guam if you'd like to get more details.
News to fill your mind. Talk to get it out. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-8255.
Hey, you need money? This is the other talking point. They'll do cash for your car. Nissan Guam will pay cash for your used car. You don't even have to buy one. It's not like they're going to, but you know, in trade for a car, if you've got a car that nobody's using right now, they can use it. You don't have to buy anything. Used car values are higher than ever before. Every make and model and is welcome, and they can do the appraisal right there on the spot. Got guys that can cover that lickety split. 8 after 9 o'clock in the morning. 888-8255 888-TALK is the telephone number. Hi. Senator Jimmy Moylan coming up a little bit later on. He's going to debrief me, if you will, on some paperwork that he got that he sent to me yesterday. And normally, you know, if I was, you know what, here's the problem. I would have sat down and printed the thing and you know, gone over it with a highlighter or whatever, and really tried to make sense of it. But I don't. You know what? I was hungry, real Joe. I was craving. You ever get that where you just, you know, I can hardly wait for dinner time. I didn't want to eat anything. I wanted to wait. I wanted to hold my appetite as long as I could until dinner time, because last night was Jamaican Grill night.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Hey.
And I've been craving, right, for like forever. But I wanted it to be a certain kind of Jamaican grill. I wanted the regular Jamaican ribs with red rice and a fruit salad. And, you know, I already got beer, right? So that's all I needed to do. So I called them up and I made the order, and I come over and I get it. But it's, like I said, it's got to be a certain kind, because the long rib bones, not as much meat as the shorter rib bones down the end. So I'm like, yeah, could you give me the you know, bunch of the shorter ones, because it all comes out to that round spot at the end of the at the end of the little ribby rack thing. That's the best part. That's the one when I'm barbecuing. That's my Tessa right there.
Yeah.
That's my reward for doing the barbecue.
And they accommodate you too, right? You asked for the small ribs, you got the small ribs.
All I got to do is say Ray, and they already know which one I want. They already know. And it's so cool because, you know, after 25 years, there's still people from the beginning of Jamaican Grill that know exactly what I want. So I thought that was nice. And, yeah, I'll give them a plug because I think it's great. 10 after 9 o'clock in the morning. Where was I? Oh, I was talking about how I was craving it, so I couldn't really think. Now, Jimmy and Mike and Jess Alec, they put together this reporty thing, and it had all kinds of... What's the word I'm looking for? There, all of these like little crap. I feel old when I can't do this. It's like you take a long word and just put initials. Anyway, so they had a whole bunch of those and acronyms. And I was having a hard time. Thank you very much. You want to take over the show?
No.
Okay, darn it. Anyway, so there were a whole bunch of acronyms in the thing, and I couldn't quite make out what these and NEUs and all of this other stuff. And I figured, you know what? I'll just read the paper. It'll be in the paper. I'll go to Canada. I'll read the thing in the newspaper, and that will help me understand what's going on. And it kind of did, and it sort of didn't. So you got the guys and concerns raised over ARP funding for villages. Now, Mike St. Nicholas says the way the paperwork should have been done was we're going to get this amount of money. And it is going to be going to the municipal parts of a government, not necessarily the government itself. It wasn't supposed to go in a big bucket of money for the governor to dole out. It was going to be a big bucket of money for the governor and kind of a shower tub. What do the Filipinos call that thing?
The counties? Batu? Or I don't know what it's called.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The little Filipino plastic thing.
Wash
that
your butt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one. That one. There's a little smaller one for the guys at the mayor's office. And now we don't have, as I understand it now, a complete and total understanding of how those monies were supposed to be coming in. Mike St. Nicholas says it was supposed to be that way and would have gone directly to the mayors, but they're going to wait out, I guess, out of an abundance of caution, they will wait out the words from DOA and BBMR in the governor's office, which in my mind is already going to be, yeah, that's our money. What? If you don't believe us, you prove it. But we're going to put that $32 million or so in the governor's kitty for the governor to be able to dole out. Too big. That's not too big. Water is too big. Where's my Filipino friends, man? You're supposed to be dive bombing me on the instant messages. Hold on, let me look at. Let me just. Howard's not answering me over there. But anyway. So in my mind, that this is not, we have not raced to a conclusion on this yet. And I know you're already going to vote for Mike St. Nicholas anyway, but let's make sure that we've got this all right now, so we don't have to worry about it. Now, when I was looking this over, and I said, well, wait a second. Didn't the governor already promise that she was going to give the people over in the mayor's office some money? And I started looking around, and there was a story that goes back to, I want to say, August or so of last year. Here it is, $37 million. Not 32, $37 million to pay for youth programs, mayor training, and other programs. The federal government provided pandemic funds worth $36 million, which will now fund Guam projects that offer after-school activities, help the island's youth, among other projects. The funding pot will also pay for certain mayor's office staffers getting trained under the Franklin Covey, the Leader in Me, and 7 Habits of Highly Effective People program on Guam. A bunch of other nonprofits are involved there as well. But so is that... There it is. Millions of, hundreds of thousands of dollars in the very least. Ganya Heights Mayor, Agate Mayor, Asan Maina Mayor, Barragata Mayor, Dededo Mayor Office going to get some money for facility improvements. Malesu going to get $60,000, $130,000 to PD for after-school and summer fun program, $500,000 to Sinahanya for sports programs, capital improvement and equipment, $500,000 down to full $163K to Tamuning, $40 to the Santa Rita Mayor's Office for their sports programs, and $60 to the Zonia Mayor's Office for the Leader in Me and 7 Habits of Highly Effective People program. Now that obviously isn't $32 million, but, you know, it's sorry, shouldn't that be enough? I know that's what the governor's going to say. Hey. What do you mean? I'm giving you money for your sports. I'm giving you money for your facilities. You want more? Man, $32 million. What are you going to do with $32 million? And that's among the questions that I've got. So we'll watch and we'll see what's going to be happening on that particular story. I don't know in my mind where the dots are going to be crossed and the I's are going to be dotted. Front page of today's Guam's Daily Post. It occurs to me I have not yet really done the table of contents. There are a lot of items on the table of contents. Can I give you a news story? You want something that you haven't heard from anywhere else yet? From Dave Del Sola. Hold on. We successfully batched. Ooh, money floating around. We successfully batched last Tuesday, the 12th. Are you ready for this? $1.35 million.
Wow.
No, that's not a wow. You're kidding me. That's it?
Yeah, it's getting smaller.
It's much smaller. This is the rounding errors. This is not new money. This is everybody going back over the however long that they had to file in the PUA, FPUC, and LWA program, and making sure that they got all of the money that they were eligible for. And it's now not a whole lot of people making claims. We continue to aggressively fix claimants with issues. October 27th, online weekly claims filing will be turned off. So all claimants file your outstanding weeks. Even if you have issues, they can correct the ones filed after that date, but you can't file new ones after that date. So get them in quick. If you have a couple of gap dates, or maybe you're a little confused about something, just go ahead and put it in now, and they'll sort everything out a little bit later on. But in the meantime, less than $2 million now in what was the unemployment assistance program for thousands of people. And you remember, it was nothing. Dave Del Sola called. How much money you guys batch up this week? Oh, $30 million. $25 million. And in the last few months, that number has come down. What do we got here? He says that shows how well we kept up with claimant payments, and I agree with that. Dave Del Sola and the team over at the Department of Labor. And it's going to be called the Del Sola Department of Labor before too much longer. But it looks like that's where they were able to make sure that anybody that needed money was getting it in a real time basis, despite the fact that there were some people with some real problems at the beginning of it. A friend of mine who was actually pregnant, she was with child when all of this started, and was hoping to be able to get some money. As it turns out, she had told them to send the money to a stateside account, and that raised a flag, and it took somebody manually to go in and sort that out. But she started getting all the money and even went backwards on that. GDOE eyeing federal aid to plug a $25 million shortfall. I'm sorry, that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Unfortunately, I would have liked to have seen the Department of Education fully funded out of resources here in the government of Guam, and to use that $25 million or whatever money that they had coming to them on the federal side to take care of deferred maintenance issues and improvements that we can make in the classroom, improvements that we should be making for the infrastructure for the kids that the government of Guam is never going to be able to pay for. I remember I don't want to say that we fought against this, but we were certainly on DOE's side when we were moving through the budget to make sure that they did not have to dip into this federal gift to be able to keep their regular operations going. Senators brief behind closed doors about the historic cultural discoveries. Oh, poor guys. They didn't get what they wanted out of the Admiral's office. We're going to cry about it to the media. Who else has got GVB works on travel perks for military families. Great idea. You know how I know it's a great idea? It came from Bob Klitsky. More on that later on. 9:18. Is that Jimmy Craig on one?
It is, sir.
Senator Jimmy Craig, on the line here. Good morning, Senator. How you doing?
Oh, very good. We got clear skies today.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a nice day. Man, I'm sorry I wasn't able to meet up with you for happy hour last night. I got busy. I got busy with Jamaican Grill.
I know. You got another phone call. I get it. It's all right. Sorry.
No,
We'll make another.
Well, where are we going to go? Okay, that's the question. Because I can't go where you and Bobby are going for a happy hour.
Yeah.
Because I'm not vaccinated. Because that's the way the world is going to be now. Unvaccinated, you can't do anything fun, can't do anything healthy, can't go eat at all the nice places. You can't even eat at lousy places if you're unvaccinated. You got to take that crap and go home. Take your bag of food and go home, Mr. Gibson. You know what's amazing is we beat that whole first wave of COVID-19 without vaccines, without segregation. You remember that?
Right.
Yeah.
I remember. Maybe we had to build a football stadium here and had 70,000 people come in every weekend during the season and rub shoulders with each other and drink beers in the stadium and do tailgates in the parking lot. And then, you don't have to show your vaccination card.
They're probably going to stop letting people do that anymore, and I'll give you a reason why. I'll give you the clean version of that. I'm sure they're going to find a way to clamp down on this in the near future, because we've got so many people now that will happily say in very, very large crowds, "Let's go, Brandon."
There you go.
Let's go, Brandon. Let me play this for you. This is funny. I'm gonna put it up on the screen as well. I was looking at this on Twitter, and there's a race that's going to get started, and the MC's holding the microphone, and he's telling the little kids to go ahead, and this is how we're going to start the race, and go ahead. And what do we say to the drivers here?
Parts. They're gonna help kick this thing off. All right, guys, ready? In 3, 2, 1.
Drivers, start your engines. Let's go, Brandon.
And the guy with the microphone just speechless. I don't know what to say. Let's go, Brandon. So I think there's going to be. I think they're going to. The president's going to shut down NASCAR. He's going to shut down the NFL. He's going to shut down the college football and all of that until people stop saying "Let's go, Brandon." Because even though you're saying "Let's go, Brandon," we all know what you mean. You mean blank you, Biden.
Right.
That's why that's going to change. All right. So back me up here. I was talking about a piece of paperwork with a bunch of acronyms that you sent me yesterday, and I couldn't think because I was holding on to my appetite. So I was hungry and distracted because I hadn't had my Jamaican Grill in me yet. Anyway, so you send me this thing, and I'm trying to make my way through it. You can describe it, or you can pick it up where the Candid and the Guam Daily Post leaves off. There is a bucket of money to the tune of about $32 million, correct?
Correct.
Okay, and it is Mike Nicholas's contention that money should be going to a special local rescue fund as opposed to a state rescue fund.
Correct. Which is the same thing that's been done in Saipan and Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico and Guam. The money went into one pot for Guam. There's some technical issues whether the Guam actually qualifies as a municipality or not, but they just basically put the money into the American Rescue Plan for the purpose of disseminating that funds to the villages. And, you know, I didn't know about this until I took my personal trip over to D.C. and had some time to talk with our congressman, and we basically asked, how else can we help the villages especially? Where are the monies available? And he said, well, what about this funding? He said, well, we never knew about that. So we continued on with that meeting yesterday with our congressman on island, and we were able to Zoom with Mayor Alec. We figured he would be the best person to talk to as president of the council, that he can disseminate this information. We invited media, and all parties were aware, and we opened it up for questioning as well. So hoping that the conversation will go back with Mayor Alec and then to the governor and see what can come about of this. And, you know, since that yesterday, of course, the governor's reaction was, well, we know what we're doing and we're already addressing it. Well, we wouldn't have known, Governor, unless you would have shared that with us. Obviously, the president of the Municipal Mayor's Council didn't know. But somehow, through the governor's channels, they know what they're talking about. And that's what seems interesting. With this administration, it seems unless we push the issue a bit, we're not going to find out. We're not going to have a plan of action. We're not going to know what's going to happen to close to $600 million. And this time, not going to know what's going to happen to $32 million, other than, you know, trust me, we're working on it. And if you folks would just pick up the phone and ask me, I would tell you.
But wait, hold on. Do they know where all of that money, what the intention of all of those dollars were at this point? Now I was looking at an article that came out in August, $37 million to pay for youth programs, mayor training, and other projects. Is it possible that she has already lined up some of that money and maybe more to go not just to the mayors for the things that they need or the things that they've identified that they need, but also to go to various other nonprofit organizations and things that will arguably help out more than just the mayors?
That is possible, but where is that money coming from? I don't think specifically from the $32 million that's made available to the municipalities. I think there's other grants and stuff that they have been reaching out to get, and they put it all into one bucket, which is a good thing. But what about this one specified? What just like what Saipan is doing, to giving it to Rhoda, Tinian, and Saipan there as well.
Okay, well, I'm playing devil's advocate here because I got a feeling that this is what it's going to sound like when Lou and Lester and Ed Byrne get their hands on it, saying we went to the mayors, asked them what they needed, and they gave us about $2 million worth of the critical needs of the mayor's offices, including the 7 habits of highly effective people training that they're apparently going to get out of this. So what else do they need? So if we don't need to spend if we need to spend $2 million, we'll take that out of the 32 and use the other 30 to stand up other NPOs and other organizations that likewise deal directly with the public, steps away from the gigantism of the entire administration.
Sure, or Adelup could have went to the mayors and said, we have $32 million dedicated for the purposes of the villages. Tell us how you can use this money.
Right.
But the question was basically, okay, mayors, how much money do you need to get things going around here? What are your ideas? They have no idea what the budget is, right? Are we supposed to shoot for the stars? Are we not supposed to get the governor upset? Are we supposed to just work on basic things? But if you give us a budget, you tell us what's available. We got some great ideas, and especially if it's not coming from the general fund.
Okay. Again, devil's advocate. I see what is happening here, and I appreciate the basis of this. But again, so $32 million, and we divide that evenly by 19 of the villages that we've got here on Guam. That comes out to about $1.75 million for each village. Now, on top of what they're already getting, on top of what they've already got in their budgets, and maybe on top of the other 1.7 or $2 million that was outlined in my previous discussion here. So we've got a significant amount of money that is going to be going to the mayor's office. I mean, what would Rudy Paco, as an example, do with $2 million that he hasn't already asked for?
I'm sure he's not going to waste it. I've heard that they also, I think there's a funding of $500,000 that we're hoping to get for each village, because that's what's needed to cover their basketball courts. That's what's needed to repair their gyms. This is just a start. And if they get 1.7 divided from the 19 villages of the $32 million, it's not going to go too far in the village of Dededo, for example. But they're not going to say, I don't want it, you can give it back to somebody else. I'm sure they can utilize that funding to help the Manucos, to help their food preparation, to maybe hire one more person, to do the things in the villages that they've been lacking for such a long time. Now we have the available money, but it's not being put transparent, again, from Adelup, saying, hey, it's here for you guys. It may not be directly going to the municipalities because we can't designate you like that, but the purpose of the $32 million was to go to the villages. And now, Adelup is saying, well, we're concerned that maybe if we use this money, the Treasury is going to slap our hands and we'll be in trouble for this. But yet, they allow it to happen in the other territories.
But didn't we hear somebody was overpaid by several $1 million? It was one of the headlines that we were talking about yesterday. Interesting. Now, let me give it to you from another perspective, and not necessarily going to say devil's advocate. My name is Ray, and I'm a big fan of public safety in this town. And if we got another $30 million, if the mayors have only outlined a couple of $1 million worth of spend that they needed out of the funds that they knew were coming to them, then maybe we can take the other $30 million and give that to the Guam Police Department.
Right, or the mayors can fix up the cobans in their department as well. They can put other communications available for the police there too, to support their villages and address some issues too, or give more street lights, which but
again, I hear what you're saying, but those aren't necessarily in the legal framework of the mayors. I don't want to just give here's millions and millions of dollars that would normally have been given to a response agency. So you got problems with your cobans, let's give that to the police department and tell the police department that they need to work on fixing the cobans in the villages. If you've got road problems, sidewalk problems, let's take that money and give that to DPW so that they can identify the work that needs to get done. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but it ain't the mayor's job to fix cobans. Frankly, it's not the mayor's job to be worrying about the road repairs in their villages. I'm glad when they can do that kind of thing on an emergent basis, but there are other parts of the government that need to be doing these things. So I don't know. I hear what you're saying, and it would have been nice if there had been a little bit more communication between the governor and the mayors, especially if the governor knew that was supposed to be municipal bucks.
And that's the point we're making.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden now the governor's office is saying, the congressman and the senator should have figured this out before bringing it up. I said, no. Obviously, if we didn't bring it up, it wouldn't have been an issue for the governor to have to defend. And if we gave the mayors an additional $1 million each for their villages, I'm sure they're going to say, we will find good uses for this to support our community, rather than saying, why not just keep it, governor, and you know best for the rest of our island.
Right. Are we going to let the mayors handle all of the procurement for all of that?
Each one of them has to be responsible for their own duties.
I suppose. Now, Shane Dawson disagreeing with me on a point. He says the cobans always belong to the mayors. They set them up, not GPD. And I got to go way back in the history books to see that. My recollection, I don't know. I thought it was Joe Ada's idea was to put the cobans in the villages. Cops identify where the villages were, but I don't recall them being left in the hands of. I could be wrong, Shane.
Yeah, most of them were built by private companies donating it as well, and then it was up to the funding source to get a desk in there, to get a phone in there, to pay different things. So they could bring that back, but I really tell you, it's like, if this issue wasn't brought up through discussion, and I'm happy to have had.
Would we have heard that the dollars were available from the governor's office, or were they saving it for their own press release?
There you go.
Were they saving it for their own? Angel, bring all of the mayors to Adelup And we're going to, here's your share of $32 million, Dedido. Here's your share of $32 million, Tamuning. Not too hot.
There you go.
And we'd have regal music playing off in the background.
Yeah.
And everybody, the governor, lieutenant governor would be wearing crowns.
There you go.
And scepters. They'd have scepters. And large flowing capes. It'll be gorgeous. It'll be a thing. All right. Well, I appreciate the thought on that. Now, can I tell you where I thought the rest of the conversation might be interesting? I'm looking at the picture, going, "Hey, you know that Jess Allig, handsome fella. That's Lieutenant Governor material right there."
Yeah.
He's a Republican, and you're a Republican.
Yeah. Let the discussion begin. Let's see how it goes. But in the meantime,
he don't like Lou any more than you do, politically. At least that's the sense I get when I talk to him. He and I agree on many things, so I'm sure that he and you agree on many things as well. Is you ever just sit around with a guy and a bottle of Jameson and just shoot the bull and hey, what do you think, bro?
It's always good to discuss things in good spirits, so I'll be happy to.
And I'm thinking, he's not totally bald like the current lieutenant governor.
Right, yeah.
I might be making too fine of a point with this, but it would be interesting. And then of course the conversation between Mike Nicholas and Jim Moylan cannot go without noting that once upon a time another Moylan Republican ran with a Democrat for governor.
He sure did. That was Kaleo and Francis.
Right.
That's right.
And it wasn't an unmitigated disaster like a lot of people thought it was. I think it got a lot of people talking. Maybe the timing was wrong. Maybe saying that we cannot get together. Maybe that was appropriate for then. But now 2021, a lot of people have different views on familial politics and historical politics on Guam. Maybe it wouldn't be such a bad thing if you got a couple of people. While we might not necessarily come from the same political background, we have nothing but the best intentions for all of the people of Guam at heart. Didn't that? God, that sounds beautiful. Where's the music? Do you have it, real Joe?
Yes.
Come on, Joe. Pay attention. While my father might have been a Republican and your father might have been a Democrat, we are both the son of Guam. We are both the sons of Guam. And what might have divided us in the past needs to bring us together in this age, this day of the pandemic. It's no longer vaccinated versus unvaccinated. It's no longer the Republicans versus Democrats, conservatives against liberals. It is now what's best for all of the people that call Guam home, that live in this land of sunshine and bounty.
Let's go, Brandon. Fantastic.
9:34. You better get out of here and go to work at the legislature. Before I let you run here, I'm going to assume that you were also able to participate in former Governor, what's his name, Gutierrez, that one, Gutierrez and Jerry Perez and even Sam Shinahara down over at the legislature yesterday. So now, was there a silver lining that you appreciated hearing from those guys? Because I'm reading the numbers and I'm thinking, woo, it's going to be tricky time next year when we're completely out of federal money.
That it will be interesting. They did have some alternate plans on what to do, but right now they're focused on cleaning up the tourist attractions here. So as things move on, we get our tourists back. We won't have this flooding issue, especially down in Tumon. So
did you say sledding issue? I heard sledding issue. Did you? Real Joe heard it too.
It. Yeah, so we've got it recorded.
You need to spend some time in Pete. He's got a beautiful church, and I'm sure the mayor will be happy to show it to you. 9:35. Jim, I'll talk to you later. All right.
All right. Talk to you later.
Have a great day. So there's good ideas because there's gonna be. I mean, this is not hard. $75 million to keep bits and pieces of the hospitality industry going. Some federal money that might be coming to help bail out hotels and things like that. I mean, but it's gonna run out. We got as many tourists came to Guam in fiscal year 21 equals half of what we used to get in a month. That's how bad it is, guys. That's how ugly it is in the hospitality industry. I don't know how long anybody's going to be able to hold their breath, and I don't know. I've got this feel like it's going to be far, far away. It will be months away from where we are right now before that industry comes back. The best thing that we'll be able to do, obviously, is to help support all of these businesses, local, staycation getaways and things like that. For those of you that have money. But even the pandemic unemployment assistance now, for all intents and purposes, is over. It's beginning to look like handout money here. Less than $2 million worth of batches that Dave Del Sol and DOL did over the last couple of days, and it's going to be before too much longer that they're not going to be entertaining any new claims, and before too much longer they're not even going to allow you to go online to make your claims. You'll have to go into the office and do all of that manually. And so that's where we are with that program. We got $550 million that the governor is sitting on, some of which has already been committed. We got Tyrone that's out there trying to get some grants that will help bring in some money. But the rest of our economy, which was based on the tourism industry and hospitality, that ain't coming back anytime soon. So I think we're going to. I don't trust the planning abilities of the government to see past this upcoming fiscal year, the one that we just got into. I don't trust their ability to program after that. And unless we see some serious green shoots in the hospitality industry coming real soon, I predict that things are going to get much worse. And if you're going, but Biden, he's got the bailout programs, billions and trillions in infrastructure money. Okay, where's that? They're choking on that. They're choking on that in Washington, D.C. And any influence that Biden had when he started this conversation, I think has evaporated. Man, that's vapor right now. He got zero credibility in Washington, D.C. And we've seen what's happening with everything else. Do they dare? Think about this now. Do they dare pledge the spending even more of these trillions of dollars, which is all deficit debt money at the end of the day anyway? Do they dare do that, given the face of inflation that we are in right now, that they believe is permanent? Not much can be done about this over the long. You better just get used to the higher prices. $80 for a barrel of West Texas crude. Last year, guys, a barrel of West Texas crude was trading at $35. Less than that. 33 something last year, and now it's over $80 a barrel. And that sounds expensive, even coming from the kids that have been paying for the most expensive gasoline in the history of expensive gasoline. Our Tapas gas is pricey out here. And have you been shopping lately? Did you look at the price of the meat? What was that? Golly, I was looking at something the other day. I don't know whether it was a dream or whether it was real, but I was looking at the price of, man, I can't remember what kind of meat it was. It wasn't here though. It was at a Costco in the States. And it was like $55 for a pound, maybe pound and a half of some kind of meat.
Sounds like a ribeye. Sounds like a ribeye or a porterhouse.
The only people that literally now, honest, Joe, I think the only people now that can afford to eat that kind of meat, as ironic as it sounds, are people with food stamps. They can afford that kind of meat.
Yeah.
Because it's out there, right? So, you and I are the camp cooks at the radio station. You want to, here's a list of, if I'm not eating out, here's a list of my feasts. Pork and beans.
Here we go.
With hot dogs. And then if I'm not eating pork and beans, sometimes I eat chili, no beans with rice and hot dogs. Or chili with beans and hot dogs. You just eliminate the rice. Starting to get hungry, aren't you?
Yeah, Ray.
Skyflakes crackers, my guy. You want to marry me. Dude. And then you get some days, if you're splurging, you get hot dog buns and eat the hot dogs in the actual hot dog bun.
Fancy.
I know. That's when you're, look at me. What are you having for dinner? Hot dog with the buns? Yeah. Not just the bread. You're not just doing anything with the bread and the hot dogs cut in half. Or as I said, a hot dog sandwich. And now I will tell you my hot dog sandwich with cheese recipe. It's basically a grilled cheese sandwich, except it's got hot dogs in it. So you cook, you grilled you hot dogs. You grill the hot dogs. You get them toasted on the inside. You've cut it half in lengthwise, right? Cut two of them in half lengthwise, and put that in the skillet and get both sides brown and hot. You know, you don't have to really worry about cooking it. Here, little known fact, Joe: hot dogs are already cooked.
Oh wow!
Right out of the like Pop-Tarts.
I know, but the searing.
You
the
need,
flavor.
I get it. I get it. So you sear the thing in there, and you get a nice little char going on your hot dog, and then you put some cheese on top of that, right? And so you take that out, set that aside, grill your bread. You got the butter in there, and now it's soaking up that juice in the hot dog, and you get the butter, and so you grill up the bread, and then you put your hot dog with the cheese on top of that, and ketchup and Tabasco. That's it. That's it. That will instantly clog your arteries, though. So eat that and make sure you got a clear shot between your house and the emergency room. Studio time is 9:41. The Ray Gibson Show probably continues after these.
Fall in love with your new home this season by shopping Furniture Cathy Style's unbelievable deals. We've brought in new items and restocked on our best sellers to help you get your home ready for the holiday. We offer free design consultation and financing with up to 12 months of zero interest for you to get what you want and what you need for your home today. Follow us on social media, visit our website at FurnitureCathyStyle.com, or call us at 300-9590 for more information. If you're not buying from us, you're paying too much.
Great news, Guam! Chili's 2 for Dining is back. Enjoy a full-on meal deal made for 2 for just $35. Start with 2 Coca-Cola beverages, an appetizer to share, and 2 mouth-watering entrees like the sizzling personal fajitas, the mouth-watering honey chipotle steak and shrimp, or Chili's world-famous fall-off-the-bone baby back ribs. Available for a limited time. Dine in today or call 648-7377 to place to-go orders. Chili's is located on the 2nd floor of Tumon Sands Plaza. Chili's. Savor the moment.
Top End Pest Control is who you call for all your pest control needs. Got a problem with roaches, ants, spiders, rodents, fleas, ticks, termites? No problem. They do it all. Top End Pest Control is a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business and HubZone certified. Serving Guam since 2012. Call them today for a quote, 487-5657, or email topendpest@gmail.com. Check them out on Facebook at Top End Pest Control and give them a like. Top End Pest Control for all your pest control needs.
Maybe I'd have to bring my own. No, Joe, there's a Pieology ad that I usually read around this time of the day, and I'm asking Real Joe, do they have hot dog there? And I don't recall seeing it in the list.
I've never tried it on a pizza. That might be something, Ray.
I know how we can find out, because I know the guy, Champy. Well, I go find Champy and say, Champy, can I bring in my own hot dogs? It's from my own pie. I just want to try it. Wouldn't that be something to get because they'll let you do anything else there. I mean, that's the whole point of Pieology, is that you get to make your own pies. You start off with whichever crust that you want. They've got a regular crust. There's a gluten-free one that they've got there, right? So you got that one. Then you put that on. You put the sauce down, and they got like 5 different sauces. And then the different cheeses that go on top of that. You could do one with just the cheese, just the sauce underneath it, the white sauce, and then you just cover the thing over with every different version of the cheese that they got. Wow, that would be good. And then you do the other one, and just as they're about to finish, just hand them the sandwich bag with your hot dog already cut up. Amen. But this, and then just take it and see what happens. I'm just saying, you know you want to do it. So just give it a shot today, and if you don't, if you're not going for the pizza, have all of the toppings put together, and they'll make a great salad for you. It's 9:44.
Guam Auto Spot has the best selection in Buick, GMC, Mitsubishi, and used cars like the 2021 Mitsubishi Mirage, starting at $127 per paycheck, 0 down. Call 671-478-AUTO to take a test drive or get pre-approved online at GuamAutospot.com.
Okay, I don't know if I want to download this. I think it's, what is the name of the software? Conflict of Nations, World War III.
Wow.
I know.
What?
It's heavy, right? It's an app. It's one of these like Stratego apps from back when we were kids, except you play it on the phone, and you go and you say, okay, well this country here has gone rogue. And we're going to use this as a catalyst to start the Third World War. Like, China and North Korea aren't enough in real-time headlines. We're going to say, but what if California went rogue? What if all of a sudden, California just decided that's it, we're leaving the country, and the rest of the country said, oh no, we can't deal without California, a huge part of our economy. You got all the ports there, and they link up with all of the pipelines and all of the rail lines and roads that lead down, and a ton of commerce takes place through California.
Yeah, a lot of agriculture too.
Right. On the other hand, I know that there's some people that you know what? Fine, go rogue. We'll make it a garrison. We will blockade, every square inch of California, and starve you from the inside. And look, you guys won't grow anything that where you use a gas engine to make it. You don't cook anything with barbecues anymore. They're so freaked out about global warming and all of that nonsense. But anyway. It looks like an interesting game to play, but here's the scenario that I would play, and this would be my premise now. In playing this game. Not a rogue California, but a rogue Texas, rogue Florida. Where are the other states with GOP and I'm not even going to say hard right governors, just not left of center governors and people that have, I want to say, maintained the freedom, equalities, and the constitutional ideals that we were all born and raised with in the United States of America. We hold on to those guys, and all of the other places are going to fight. Now, I'm not suggesting a civil war. I'm suggesting a civil war game, a simulation of a civil war working that way. I wonder how something like that would end up. Or is the United States just so, the CONUS, is it just so intertwined? What would Hawaii do? If there was a civil war in the U.S. mainland, what would Hawaii do?
Luau.
And to bury a pig, brother. I'm going to surf every day if there's a civil war. What about up in Alaska? What would they do? There's 20 people that live in Alaska, but what would those guys do? Dude, you know what? If it was me, we're keeping all of the oil. We are keeping all of the oil. We're going to shut the pipeline out to the United States. We're going to keep all of the oil here, and it's just going to be us and the Eskimos, and we're going to eat seals and dolphins and just everything.
Eskimo kisses.
Exactly. Ooh, I like that, Joe. He looked me in the eye when he said that. 888-825-5888-TALK is the telephone number. We talked with Jimmy. And I thought this was a big enough story. Cousin Troy from Candid News on the thing here this morning, and you were a participant in the get together that Mikey and Jimmy and Jesse had in the conversation yesterday. What were your takeaways, Cuz?
Well, I just thought it was exciting that there was this pot of money that the mayors could use, because there's stuff that they could do that a whole bunch of Candid viewers over the past, I'd say, 3-4 months have been asking about, because of, I don't know how things go with funding in GovGuam and the weirdness of the pandemic and when funds arrive and how things are different with school and all that stuff, right? So one of the main things that the mayor talked about was how they have programs ready to go for after-school care, for more recreational activities in the villages for both kids and senior citizens. It just, real good stuff that can only benefit the community, and how this pot of money, now that they know it exists, he's going to go and talk to the governor about it. And I thought that was a great takeaway. Of course, the prospect of fixing potholes is a great thing. I live in Barrigada.
Yeah, but that's not. I keep going, and I'm trying to play a little bit of devil's advocate here on this one. Not that and I think I'm going to be with a bunch of mayors later on, and they're going to smack me around the ears for saying so. But there are a number of things that we look at and say this is a mayor's responsibility, but really they aren't. These are things that have become mayors' responsibilities because the responsive agencies, i.e., DPW, Guam Police Department, Guam Fire, et cetera, have not necessarily had all of the tools that they need and financial resources that they need to get those kinds of things done on a regular basis. So it'd be nice if the monies were available and earmarked for those specific needs. But is that something that necessarily has to go through the mayors? I mean, really, and you know this, you've worked with the law. What are the legal obligations of the mayors in statute versus what are the things that the mayors have begun to do themselves, because it's easier if they do it themselves rather than have to get in the whole mix of the government of Guam and have to deal with Vince Areola or Steve Ignacio or whatever?
their jobs have never really been defined except for when the legislature put them in charge of cutting the yards at the school campuses.
Which they said they didn't want to do either.
Well, because the legislature just wouldn't give them the funding. The legislature puts all this, or even the governor's office puts all this stuff on mayors to do, and then the funding is just not there. But, I mean, in terms of potholes, I mean, if we want to go with DPW selecting a contractor to do island-wide potholes, we just better be prepared to wait a lot longer for potholes to be repaired as they come up. It's just.
But why? I mean, why would that be the case if DPW has got give me an RRT, give me a rapid response team, and that's their job. There's a new pothole up on Teedson, on the northbound lane up on Teedson. So Vince Areola has got a rapid response team, and it's a bunch of guys that will go out there, and rather than just cold patch it, they've got the financial resources out of this $32 million pot to be able to go in there, excavate, get down to substrate, put down some new substrate, pack it down there really good, and then put some real good hot asphalt on top of the stuff, and then go over it with a steamroller as opposed to going over it with just a jackhammer kind of device.
Because dealing with getting something done through a centralized bureaucracy like DPW will always take longer than getting it done.
But I named it Rapid Response Team. So it's a given that they'll be there sometime this month.
It just doesn't work that way.
I'm just, because we got the money now. If you ask me, we got the money. I'm just trying not to. It's not that I don't trust or value the mayors and the incentives that they got. They were apparently asked some time ago what they needed, and if the money was made available, and I think their wish list was only about $2 million, and that included the Franklin Covey, the Leader in Me, and 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Training that they were going to do for certain folks in their offices. Those were the priorities before. Now you're telling me that there are other priorities, or are there other priorities just because we got the money now?
It's probably like, when you think your mom is poor and you go and it's Christmas time and she's like, what do you want for Christmas, boy? And then, you don't want to ask for anything too much because you know that your mom's struggling. But like, you know that she had a lot of money in her bag that her dad gave her, that your dad gave her.
Okay. No. Okay, so I get it, but I want to make sure that this is clear. It would be nice if we were able to take this $32 million, divide it by 19, and hand each of the mayors and their offices a check for about $1.75 million, and then all of the mayors are going to be happy spending those on priorities that they believe are valuable to their deal. But the real end of the day beauty here is it looks like the governor is playing a shell game with federal dollars that should be going to other than her big pot of money.
Well, so I got this statement from Crystal Paco attributed to Ed Byrne that sounds like it was mission accomplished for Senator Moylan and Congressman Nicholas, because they do acknowledge the money and they do acknowledge that it is going to municipal use. So it says. Their statement, if I can read it.
Yeah, because that's a new wrinkle. I had not heard that there has been that response from the governor's office.
Yeah, so it says it is misleading for Senator Moylan to broadly assert that $32 million is available specifically for individual villages. So here's where they parse the words, right? These funds, as with all federal grants, come with restrictions, and we all should understand that, especially our elected officials. Failing to abide by those restrictions will only result in Guam having to repay the funds. Pacific Star Hotel.
Oh my God! There's the caveat. That's the fear porn for the legislatures. Well, if we screw it up, we might have to repay the funds.
So here's the parsing of words, right? But I mean, it's still a positive outcome when you think about it. The Byrne statement continues: our villages were not designated by U.S. Treasury as counties or separate incorporated municipalities, so they don't qualify to receive the funds directly. We are working with Treasury and Mayor's Council of Guam on how to maximize the amount and use of ARP funds based on the limitations on how these funds...
Wait. Jess Alec is the president of the Mayor's Club, and then you've got Angel, who is at the top of that food chain. Are you telling me that Angel didn't tell Jess that he was talking with administration about an additional $32 million? Is that what I'm to be led to believe?
Well, I mean, the wording here says we are working with Treasury, and this was released today. Just Alec did say in that thing yesterday that he has a meeting with the governor yesterday. So, I mean, it could very well be true that as of today, they are working with Treasury and MCOG on how to maximize the amount. So
now that you've caught us, yes, we're working together.
but it's at least it's happening, right? I mean, that's the good thing. So something good came out of this, I think.
Well, we'll see what happens. I cannot personally identify $2 million worth of work that needs to be done in my village. I trust my mayor, Rudy Paco, to be able to judiciously use that capital. Not that I need a new retaining wall, but I need a new retaining wall.
Is transportation for transportation services for people who need to go get their GED or need to go get certified over at Guam Trades Academy.
Again, that's not the mayor's job. We have a bus system here on Guam. I hear what the thing is going to say. We can use it for this. We can use it for that. We can use it for the other. And the mayor's going to say, $2 million. I can buy myself 2 or 3 backhoes. I can get all kinds of, I dig my own ditches in the village. I'm going to borrow the bush cutter anymore from Dedido. I'm going to go buy me 20 from ERC right now. But again, we're talking about things that might not necessarily fall within the statute of the mayoral obligations. And I think if we are not careful, we could squander $32+ million. and maybe there is something to what Ed Byrne is saying. Is there are some strings on this kind of thing. So unless it is specifically said that we want this, so counties, municipalities can use the money to take people to their what did you say it was, dialysis? I'm thinking methadone. But to take them to their classes or whatever. Unless it says that, then yeah, we could get in trouble with reimbursement issues.
Are we really going to put our faith and trust in the central bureaucracy agencies that have been failing us this whole time?
I don't know. I don't know. The risk is if we don't, and the Fed comes back and says, yeah, that $32 million, you weren't supposed to buy backhoes and bush cutters with that. There was supposed to be other recovery things. You were supposed to be doing things to help recover your villages, and you were supposed to be using these things to make it so that we could economically recover after this pandemic, or whatever. They're going to say, give us that $32 million back, and that means there's going to be an even bigger burden on the government. Frankly, there's another story that in the newspaper that I'm also worried about. Front page, GDOE eyeing federal aid to plug $25 million shortfall. Both you and I agreed that all of that federal aid should have gone to taking care of years worth of negligence and deferred maintenance. Should be going to new technology, new tools, and new things for the teachers to use to be able to teach the kids, as opposed to filling in a gap in funding from the budget.
Yeah, I'm getting messages from different schools about how each kid was supposed to get $150 worth of school supplies. There's one school where $150 for school supplies included 1 composition notebook, 2 pencils, a pen, and a couple of other things. I'm not gonna, because he's my friend, so I'm not gonna ask who you think they bought those school supplies from. I already know the answer. I already know your answer, bro. I gotta run. I'll talk to you pretty soon. You have an outrageous day. That's Cousin Troy. You're gonna get the last word here on the Ray Gibson Show. I'll see you, bro. Par. It's 9:59 and change. We're KUSG. I got you. Fox News Live here on The Point.
Lisa Lacera, Fox News. Days before the deadline, the House has passed a short-term spending bill.
The Democrat-controlled House sent a $480 billion debt limit increase to President Biden, extending the debt limit into early December. Congress was facing an October 18th deadline to raise the borrowing limit and avoid a default economists warn would have catastrophic consequences to the markets. The stopgap measure was approved last week on a party-line Senate vote after 11 Republicans helped overcome a filibuster. A long-term solution remains in doubt. However, Republicans say Democrats can act on their own through a budget reconciliation process. On Capitol Hill, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
An Indiana hairdresser linked to the QAnon conspiracy group has been sentenced to 14 days in jail and 60 hours of community service for taking part in the Capitol riot. But a federal judge says Donna Sue Bissey is being penalized for her actions, not her beliefs. The FDA has okayed one type of electronic cigarette.
Health officials have authorized the first electronic cigarettes in the U.S., saying the R.J. Reynolds vaping products